Huge victories for Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. The presidential frontrunners getting closer to clinching their party's nomination, pivoting toward a general election.
I just want to thank everybody. This is a far bigger win than we even expected, all five. And that's something that's really...
Let's go forward. Let's win the nomination. And in July, let's return as a unified party.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
No, coming to you live from Garvey Office Products in scenic Niles, Illinois. This is part of our AM 560 business tour sponsored by Signature Bank, Amy. So we're getting back out on tour, partly to celebrate small businesses that are success stories, partly to allow you to relive your glory years when you were a roadie for Peaches and Herb.
That's right.
So just kind of getting you back on the road, getting the feel back.
Peaches and Herbs. No, actually, I consider Niles one of my second homes because my grandparents grew up literally right down the street. And remember the old Salerno cookie factory?
Yeah.
We used to ride our bikes or run, like, Grandma, we'll be right back. So I kind of romped around in Niles, and I had a good time here. And like most of the Jacobsons, I understand your grandfather was thrown out of this community. Yes, he was. He owned a business right around the corner, but, just pour salt in our wound. But because of eminent domain, the city of Niles took away what he had constructed and condemned the building and gave us a very small amount of money as opposed to a big chunk of change that we were supposed to get for that piece of land.
Cloudy and 43 degrees. Good morning.
Part of the wandering.
It was a cloudy day.
Yeah, boy, it's a nice kind of third-party narration by Mike Scott for your story. It's part of the Wandering Jacobsons. You're being pushed out of Lakeview. They've taken your school principal away.
Yeah.
Your grandfather's pushed out of Niles. I don't know. It's probably Western civilization trying to send some kind of signal to your family.
Well, what foreign country should I move to? Because there's a growing list of celebrities, by the way, who are going to be moving to Canada if Donald Trump becomes president.
Yeah, this ghastly woman, Lena Dunham.
Would
she's
she even be considered a woman?
I don't. Well,
she's like a thing.
Oh boy.
Well, she
Meow.
is. Yeah, we're sorry. Cat claws are coming out early, Dan.
She's one of those that were going to Canada. I remember when
Whoopi Goldberg.
Well, Alec Baldwin, he's still here, and he promised when George Herbert Walker Bush was elected.
Oh.
George Herbert Walker Bush, who Alec Baldwin measuredly called a CIA assassin. When he was elected, Alec Baldwin was supposed to renounce his citizenship and move to Canada. He didn't. So, sometimes you just can't bank on these Hollywood celebrities to self-exile like you wish they would.
You mean they're lying to us?
Well,
they're doing this for show?
Yeah, exactly.
So
the big story last night, of course, is...
Yeah, well, how's that going?
Is it a big story? We talked about it a little bit yesterday, and we knew going in Donald Trump was going to sweep the Acela primary states, the 5 primary states yesterday, and by huge margins, and he held form. I mean...
he delivered, and I think he kicked some you-know-what.
Well, they were all blowouts. There was no race that was closer than 30 points. So those are substantial victories in a 2-man race, in a 3-man race, and in an any-man race. And
your guys, sorry for interrupting, but your guy Ted Cruz he came in 3rd in every state except for Pennsylvania. He came in 2nd.
Yeah, the question is, does it matter? It doesn't matter really in terms of the path to 1237 for Trump, because this was anticipated. And so all the conversation about whether or not we are going to have a contested convention still rests on basically on Indiana next Tuesday, as we had been talking about. So it doesn't matter if you look at this in a vacuum. But, of course, you can't look at things in a vacuum because that's not how the world works. And so the question is a momentum question and a media coverage question, which will further feed the momentum, because those huge victories last night,
Did you say huge?
The narrative is going to be the narrative that Donald Trump was spinning last night during his victory speech, which is, this thing's over.
I consider myself the presumptive nominee, absolutely. Honestly, Senator Cruz and Governor Kasich should really get out of the race. They are.
So I consider myself the presumptive nominee. The other two should get out of the race. That's nothing different than what he's been saying for a while, but he had 5 landslide victories to back it up last night.
Huge. And we should point out that that is the point in time in his late night rally where the audio wasn't working well.
Yes.
Is when he said that, because when he made other comments and some incendiary comments about Hillary Clinton and the woman card, the mic was on and it was working, and it piqued my interest, and I thought, what is he trying to do now?
Well, I think the only card she has is the woman's card. She's got nothing else going. And frankly, if Hillary Clinton were a man, I don't think she'd get 5% of the vote. The only thing she's got going is the woman's card. And the beautiful thing is women don't like her, okay?
Well, that's true, but the woman standing right behind Donald Trump, Mary Pat Christie, Chris Christie's wife, was rolling her eyes when he said that, and she looked horrified. And Chris Christie was staring off in the like deer in a headlight, like thinking, "What is he talking about? That if she was a man, she'd only get 5% of the vote."
I think he's being a bit hyperbolic. As can everyone take judicial notice that Trump is prone to be hyperbolic? So I don't actually find what he said troublesome about Hillary. And the reason I don't is because it's true. That is the only thing she has to play is the woman's card.
But 5% of the vote, I mean, against Bernie Sanders, if she was a man.
Are you taking it literally? No. Don't.
Okay.
I just did.
But
do we just have a conversation about hyperbole?
Yes, we did.
She has the woman's card to play. That's all she's got. She's got her cackle caucus. She's going to play gender identity politics and to some extent race identity politics. So she has that to play, I suppose, as well. But by the way, there's a reason that Donald Trump, who's upside down by more than 2-1 in terms of fave-unfave, is in a statistical dead heat with Hillary Clinton. And it's not because she is a textured candidate with a lot of attributes that bring in a diverse coalition. This is race to the bottom, 21st century Democrat Party, all gender and race identity politics. That's what Hillary has to play. And so I completely agree to him. But the big question on the Republican side, because that side's over.
Can I play her response to his woman's card?
Yeah, I suppose.
Okay, it's very exciting. You ready?
Now I'm rolling my eyes. Now I'm Mary Pat Christie.
Now, the other day, Mr. Trump accused me of playing the, quote, woman card. Well, if fighting for women's health care and paid family leave and equal pay is playing the woman card, then deal me in.
Yep.
Yeah,
so that response proving Trump's point, that's all she has to play, and she plays it in the most shrill, base, pandering way possible. So we'll have that to look forward to for the next 6 months.
A lot of women that I know are not voting for Hillary; they're voting for Bernie. But
maybe that has something to do with the second part of what Trump said, which is a lot of women don't like Hillary. So it turns out that Trump lurched into an insight there. I have a question, though, about Indiana. The question is, can Ted Cruz be Hickory to Donald Trump's South Bend?
Oh, I get it. The Hoosiers.
Yes.
The movie, your favorite movie ever. Where's your T-shirt?
I
thought you'd be wearing that bad boy from now until next Tuesday.
I'm going to ramp up to the Hoosiers T-shirt.
Really? It's getting pressed and cleaned right now?
We still have several days. Because I go back to say, the coverage today and through at least the eve of the Indiana primary is going to be about Trump as the presumptive nominee, already talking Trump versus Hillary, what that general election is going to look like and sound like, even more so than has been the case to this point. And so that becomes a bit of a headwind for Ted Cruz, even if he has more infrastructure in Indiana than Donald Trump, even if the Kasich-Cruz alliance, such as it is, provides some benefit. So that's the question put out to you, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. And specifically, since we have a pretty deep reach into Indiana, let's hear from some Hoosiers, or as you would call them, Indianans.
Yeah, okay, I made a mistake. My friend from Munster heard me say that and let me know that
horrified
that I'm off of her Christmas card list now until I get it right.
It's a fair punishment.
Yeah, thanks.
But particularly want to hear from those from Indiana, which way they're going to be going on Tuesday, and whether last night's results and Trump opening up nearly a 400-delegate lead on Cruz will have any impact on their choices. Let's go to Al in Munster. Hey, Al.
Morning, Dan, Amy. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think Cruz is going to pull out Indiana. I'm over here in Munster. I've been around. There's a lot of people rallying against him that are conservatives. But the thing that I wanted to bring up is Trump was right. Did you see the in-depth poll on women for Hillary by National Journal? And
no, I did not.
I also want to ask, why, when you guys know the mainstream media is attempting to downplay stuff or block it, why can't we get the names of those people from you guys?
The names of which people?
Like, say, the New York Times editors, Huffington Post editors. You know, people that are not reporting like this issue with Podesta being her campaign chairman and him and his brother doing everything they can to help Russia get around Obama's sanctions. Nobody has said nothing about it.
Thanks for the call, Al. We do our best to name names. By the way, just in terms of the media and the media's treatment of Donald Trump, he had something to say about that last night in his remarks with an eye towards the general election. But I thought it was very interesting for those who want to complain about the media's treatment of the Donald.
I want to thank the media. The media has really covered me very fair for the last 2 hours. No, they've been really very fair over the last few weeks, and it's been amazing what's been happening. The crowds we've had are record-setting crowds, bigger than Bernie.
Yeah. You know why they're nice to him? Because he sells them, he brings in revenue for them. Advertising rates are going up. My friends at work, yes, in the mainstream media, as you would call it, rates have almost doubled, Dan, because of Donald Trump.
Well, I think
because he sells.
I think you're right. I think ratings is a piece of it. The other piece of it is, and we've said this for a while on this show, is that Donald Trump is who the Washington Press Corps wants to be the Republican nominee, so they can turn around and go back to Hillary base camp and work with Hillary to take him out. And they think that he presents the best chance for Hillary to be the president, which, of course, is what the Washington Press Corps wants, because, as we know from survey research for the last 50 years, the Washington Press Corps, which drives the national debate in many ways, and certainly the coverage of the campaign, votes anywhere between 84 and 92% for the Democrat nominee for president. So just consider that for those who still think that maybe Trump isn't our best choice, who is really driving Trump. In addition to the substantive revolt that's going on, the other big enterprise driving Trump is the Washington Press Corps. Dan and Amy coming to you from Garvey's Office Products in Niles. We'll be back.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Dig in your closet and get out those winter clothes. Yes, it's going to be another cold one. 43 degrees right now at O'Hare, 53 for a high, but if you're along the lakefront, factoring in the wind chill, it'll be in the 30s. Yikes. We have a little rain, possibly a thunderstorm by this afternoon, and then tomorrow, not much better, cold with rain and drizzle, a high of just 49 degrees. Let's get the travel times. Anything nasty on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Right now, things are looking pretty good. A lot of that overnight road work, and there was a lot of it this morning. That's pretty much gone now. There's still some work on the outbound Bishop Ford from 159th to 8094 in the two left lanes, but inbound, the road work and the delays, they're all gone. Southbound Tri-State, there's a left lane closure from the Grand Avenue curve to Reagan Tollway till 6. But elsewhere right now, the expressways and tollways in Illinois look great. For Indianans or Hoosiers, you do have that ongoing construction on the Indiana Toll Road, and you have delays in both directions between the Portage exit and before State Road 49, and then also east of 421 in LaPorte County. Other than that, right now, things are great. Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. That's right, I'm now Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. I'm the same guy that's provided listeners with honest advice and outstanding customer service for the past 13 years. The only thing that's changed is where I work. When you needed help refinancing after the Big Corner Bank messed up your loan, even though you've heard thousands of my ads telling you not to waste your time at the Big Corner Bank, you called me and I helped you. If you would like to talk to me about a mortgage, please give me a call at 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333. Email me at david@pearldavid.com. That's david@PERLDavid.com. Or visit my website, am560david.com. 312-751-1333. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358, licensed by DBO under California RMLA NMLS 19186. PearlMortgage.com licensing.
Place your orders for promotional items now for the year. Get ready for the big trade show. Provide shirts or jackets for all of your employees, students, or church members. Or giveaway items like coffee mugs, pens, or hats. Whatever it is, you can trust an American to take care of it.
This is Sam Gilberto, President of American Embroidery and Screen Printing and American Marketing Products. We specialize in putting your logo on just about anything. Our focus is entirely on you, our customer. We want every customer experience to be outstanding.
Here's an offer to help your budgets for the new year. 10% off and free artwork on embroidery and screen printing orders for all new customers. 10% off and free artwork on embroidery and screen printing orders for all new customers.
We have the capability, capacity, and know-how to get your job done right and on time.
Call 630-766-2825. 630-766-2825. Get more at trustinamerican.com. On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to drill down and talk about the big ideas behind the big issues. That's where Upstream Ideas comes in. Upstream Ideas, online at upstream-ideas.com, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted orthodoxies. In other words, Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now to upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to spur you on to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit more free, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, there you go. Come on, Dan, you can dance. We can do a routine here.
You're gosh darn right I can dance.
Did you ever watch the show So You Think You Can Dance on Fox?
No, I don't.
Me neither, but I love the title.
So talking Ted Cruz and Trump, and Ted Cruz not necessarily helping his case. He had a bit of an Amy Jacobson moment.
That is so
yesterday.
I've got a chair behind me, and I will throw it at you.
Well,
it doesn't have to be refined to the Jerry Springer show.
That could be another Amy Jacobson.
Thank you.
Indiana-related moment. But he was at the gym, the Hickory Gym, yesterday.
Really?
Ted Cruz
working
for a
out?
rally. No, but he tried to talk a little basketball.
Oh no!
And this is not his core area of competence, apparently.
10 feet. You know, the amazing thing is that basketball rim here in Indiana is the same height as it is in New York City and every other place in this country.
You may not have caught that basketball ring. The basketball ring.
Oh, what my friend here meant to say is the basketball rim.
Or the basketball hoop.
Or the hoop, right,
yeah.
But rim, yeah.
Yeah, ring. He sounded like Miss Fleener in Hoosiers, a leather ball through a metal hoop. Yeah, so, but I would implore you, in the immortal words of Coach Norman Dale, judge him for what he is, not what he is not. Let's go to Jim in Milwaukee. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah,
hey, Jim.
I got a kick out of that, too. But, just to With regards to the first caller and the term conservatives, I would just like anyone, not just Trump supporters, to explain how the guy can go to Florida and pander down there and say he's going to reduce the debt but still not deal with Social Security, go to Iowa and then pander there, talking about expanding the ethanol benefits, then come to Wisconsin and criticize our Governor Walker for dividing the state and calling for raising of taxes. Are we redefining conservatives? If you're for Trump, that's one thing. But please, you're not a conservative.
Thanks, Jim. Ann on the north side.
Good morning.
Hi. Good morning, Ann.
I wanted to mention that I like Hillary Clinton's platform about women, of course, but what are we thinking? Do we want Hillary and the Clintons in the White House for almost 16 years? I mean, shouldn't they start paying rent on it? If she wins the election, they'll be in the White House for 12 years. And if she wins another term, they'll be in there 16 years. Is that historical? Has anyone ever lived in the White House for 16 years?
Well, no, not a husband and wife couple. That's true. I mean, husband and wife. Hilarious.
Please,
Thanks for the call, Ann.
Business
but
partnership.
You're right. I assume that's a rhetorical question because if it's not, the answer is, do we want the Clintons in the White House for another 8 years? No, of course not. No, nobody really wants that if you just think about it for a minute. Dan and Amy coming to you live from Garvey's Office Products in Niles, part of our AM 560 Signature Bank Business Tour.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Lex Howard, CEO of Balance of Nature. I occasionally take new customer calls, and often people tell me that they have been hearing our advertisements for years. What are you waiting for? Start now and begin experiencing the benefits of Balance of Nature in your life.
It's a very good product, even if I open the capsules. It tastes very good.
I like it. That's why I'm reordering it. Matter of fact, I think I may give it to my son. You can't point to anything except you suddenly realize you're not dizzy anymore, you don't have a headache anymore, you're sleeping pretty good. It's not a case of where this hurts and now it doesn't hurt anymore. It's difficult for people to realize it's helping them because they're feeling like they should feel.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
I'm Dan Proff.
And I'm Amy Jacobson.
And we want to say thanks to the dozens of businesses that stepped up to become business benefactors for our annual golf outing coming up June 16th at the Bolingbrook Golf Club.
This year's outing benefits Operation Support Our Troops America and the great work they do for our military members, their families, and our returning veterans.
And if you own or run a business or make marketing decisions for a business, well, you're in luck. We've had a few slots open up for you to become a business benefactor for this year's outing. If you purchase a foursome for $996, we'll turn that into $3,000 of advertising in the form of 25 60-second commercials that will air on AM 560 Monday through Friday between the hours of 5 a.m. and 10 p.m.
Now, these opportunities are extremely limited, so call Michael Mann today at 847-871-1527. That's 847-871-1527 and tell them you want to become a business benefactor. 847-871-1527 or go to 560theanswer.com/golf.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
It's become a presidential issue, men in the women's bathroom. And the boycott of Target has ballooned to more than 700,000. We'll discuss it at 5:36.
And then later, individual A's attorney is going to be joining us on the day that Denny Hastert gets sentenced. But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say good morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. The main suspect in the Paris terror attacks is now in France to answer charges. Belgian authorities handed Salah Abdel-Salam over to French authorities today. Abdel-Salam is believed to be the only surviving suspect in the attacks that killed 130 in Paris. Donald Trump celebrating after winning primaries in 5 states yesterday.
I consider myself the presumptive nominee, absolutely. I mean, I feel up.
At the same time, Hillary Clinton closing in on the Democratic nomination after winning primaries in 4 of 5 states.
We will unify our party to win this election and build an America where we can all rise together.
And a misstep for Ohio Governor John Kasich, who will not be in the Oregon voter pamphlet for the May 17th primary. Kasich's campaign missed a key deadline to submit information to the state. It looks like music icon Prince died without a will. His sister filed legal documents stating she has no knowledge of a will and no reason to believe the musician would have ever had one. Former House Speaker Dennis Hastert is stepping before a judge to learn his punishment in that hush money case centered on sex abuse allegations at a Chicago federal courthouse today. A resident of a senior living facility in Lyons is accused in the deaths of 2 neighbors. John Arnold is charged with the murders. Both victims were found stabbed to death Monday at the Riverwalk senior residences. And in a delayed report, the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office said the deaths of 2 boys found last year after an apparent fire at their Chatham home were homicides. 11-year-old Andrew Sims and his 10-year-old brother Cameron died of smoke inhalation in the July fire that also killed their 5-year-old brother. Also found in the home a week after the suspected arson fire was the body of their 28-year-old mother. White Sox beat Toronto 10-1, Cubs over Milwaukee 4-3, and your NBA Coach of the Year is Golden State's Steve Kerr. The news, a service of Subway, introducing the new Subway carved turkey and bacon sandwich. Their premium carved turkey is thick cut, all white meat turkey, oven roasted to perfection. Subway, fresh is what we do. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity can read between the lines.
There is a strategy that has emerged among all of these prominent Republicans that they want to bring in a white knight candidate, an outsider. They want another person. And you want to know why? Because if you're a Cruz supporter, they think you're stupid. If you're a Trump supporter, they think you're stupid.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
The 100th running of the Indy 500, May 29th at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, is the racing event of a lifetime. Don't miss it. For tickets, visit IMS.com today.
You know the name Barbara Walters. Now remember the company, Ameritrust Mortgage.
Ameritrust Mortgage was formed along with a talented professional staff that makes your mortgage process easy, swift, and cost-efficient for you, the home buyer, and for those who refinance. Ameritrust is all-inclusive, start to finish, the way lending should be. At Ameritrust, we believe it has been our privilege to have helped thousands of people over 30 years with purchasing or refinancing their home. We are here to help. Let us customize a loan program for your specific needs, FHA, VA, or conventional. At Ameritrust, the responsibility belongs to me. It's my name on the door. I am the president. I am Barbara Walters. Call Ameritrust now, 815-459-7303. Again, that number is 815-459-7303. Or visit us at am560myhome.com.
Ameritrust Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee number 720. NMLS number 217229.
5:36 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. The latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Bishop Ford Freeway inbound traffic is slow from 111th to the Ryan. It's a 5-minute delay, and outbound it's slow from 159th to 8094 with roadwork blocking 2 left lanes. You've got a 2-minute delay outbound. On Ryan, heavy, Cermak to the Burns Circle, 17 minutes, 95th to downtown. Outbound fine at 15. No delays to report yet on the Edens, Kennedy, the Eisenhower, the Stevenson. I-57 is fine. The Illinois tollways are delay-free. There's a crash reported in northwest Indiana, I-65 southbound. State Road 2 in Lowell. The Indiana Toll Road has ongoing construction delays. Traffic is a service of GoDaddy. Can you grow your business, goose your bottom line? GoDaddy can help with memorable domains, website design, online marketing, and 24/7 expert advice. Can you surpass even your own expectations? Of course you can. Go you, GoDaddy. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Cloudy, breezy, a bit of rain this afternoon, high 53. Rain and a thunderstorm overnight, low 42. 43 at O'Hare. Next news at 6. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the New American Funding Show, walking you through stress-free mortgage options. Sunday afternoons at 1 on AM 560, The Answer.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We're coming to you live from Garvey's Office Products in Niles, part of our AM 560 Signature Bank business tour. We're touring the greater Chicago metropolitan area, stopping at and broadcasting the show when we stop at a number of successful businesses. This is our Amy, third or fourth one, and
this place is nice, Dan.
Yeah, Garvey's Office Products.
I'm just deciding which chair I'm going to sneak out of here,
and
because they sell office furniture, obviously, and janitorial supplies, coffee supplies, corporate logo products. And I got a chair already picked out.
Well, it's nice. I'm sure Salem would be happy to pick up the tab. And for the our corporate overlords, they can just go to getgarveys.com, getgarveys, plural.com, and you pick up that chair for Amy online.
We could just roll it outside into the minivan. No one will know.
Well,
get out.
So talking presidential politics, but with a little bit of a cultural twist, because this turns out to be one of the issues that Ted Cruz has been talking about, distinguishing himself from Donald Trump, and that's the issue of bathroom use in public multi-occupancy bathrooms, like at Target, for example. Do you want men in the ladies' room? And 700,000 Americans have said, no, we don't, and they've signed a petition to boycott Target. Now, I'm not one who is much for boycotts. That's more like Jesse Jackson Sr.'s racket. I'd rather kind of just engage in the discussion and the persuasion, trying to get people to think a little bit, rather than be one of those kind of bedwetting boycotters, like the Hollywood celebs that aren't going to go to North Carolina.
But you, to be honest, you don't shop at Target.
I don't shop.
For us moms who have kids, you don't shop ever?
I don't shop.
Do you cook ever?
I don't think I've ever been in a Target.
Really?
No, I'm serious.
You know what I love about that, though? Because remember at Christmas time, we all received a $50 Target card.
Yeah.
And you just handed it to me like it was no big deal. Like it was just a piece of paper you're going to throw away. Like, I'll take it. I'll take the Target card.
I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what to do with it.
But for us moms who have kids and this new, not a plan, but their new law about letting anyone use any bathroom however they feel. So if you go in, and a man tested the system in Florida, he went in, mic'd up, and, you can listen to it yourself. But
hi, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you?
What's your name, Gerard?
Gerard.
Hi, my name's Andy.
Okay.
I just came by because I wanted to make sure that I was allowed to use the women's room before I went in.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah. That's correct. Yeah.
That's fine?
Yes.
Okay. If any of the women have a problem, you let them know that?
Yeah. They can come and we'll speak to them.
Okay.
Yep.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. No problem.
And he wasn't dressed up in drag or anything. He was dressed up like you or Eric, anybody, just regular guy, walked in and said,
"Yeah, hi,
I need to
I'm
see the
Andy.
manager. Hi, I'm Andy, and I want to use the women's washroom." And they're like, "Okay." It's a new company policy, so he couldn't tell him no because that would be discriminatory.
Well, that's right. So what about that? You go to Target, you're a female, and you walk into the bathroom, and a man's in there, and you complain, and the manager says, "I'm sorry, miss, but you're in the wrong." How do you feel about that? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. You supportive of the Target boycott? I don't know why we're playing that clip. You supportive of the Target boycott or not? Are you going to make a personal decision to continue shopping at Target? And, of course, just the larger issue of whether or not you think this is silliness. And particularly, it's worth pointing out what we have going on here. And David French points this out in National Review Online. Target is doing this, right? Think about this. Target is doing this for making a statement on behalf of the extraordinarily small slice of the population, which we're all going to reorder our lives to accommodate, a small slice of the population that, one, identifies as transgender, but it's more than that, is too stubborn to either use a stall in a restroom for their biological sex, right, or the increasing number of single occupancy, quote unquote, family restaurants that are proliferating in newer stores, Target and elsewhere. This is the point. It's very much, frankly, like the gay rights agenda, which is I am not going to let you ignore it. I'm not going to let you passively accept it. You have to celebrate it. It is going to be in your face. I am not going to yield at all. There is no compromise. My social mores, my values will be imposed on you. That's what this is.
But it's not only the bathrooms, too. It's the changing rooms. It's the fitting rooms.
Absolutely.
And that, to me, is more, that's where I have an expectation of privacy, and I don't need to see a man when I'm in there trying on clothes. That is a private part for myself and my gender. And that's why I'm so appalled. I mean, I understood the bathroom thing. I thought, okay. But then when they elevated it to the fitting rooms as well, that's a whole new ballgame. And anybody out there, has anybody signed the petition? Is anybody not going to Target because of this? 312-642-5600. I haven't stepped into Target since, but I haven't had to go shopping. But we don't have any in the city, Dan. We don't have choice. We don't have Walmarts. All we have is Targets.
There's Walmarts in the city.
Well, not they're neighborhood Walmarts. And they don't have all the stuff that we need. So we have to go to the suburbs to go to Walmart.
What stuff do you need that Walmart has everything, as far as I
understand. It does, but we don't have a lot of Walmart options. No. Most of the stores are like on my way home, I'll pass 3 Targets.
What is
Targets
it that
have occupied the city.
We
buy things in bulk, and it's cheaper rather than going to the Jewels or Mariano's.
Like pork rinds, or what are you buying in bulk?
Well, there's
tube socks.
No, you can get everything: shampoo for the kids, school supplies for the kids, toilet paper, paper towels. I mean, when you go to Target now, you can shop there too for food.
Why don't you just buy online or get a personal shopper or something? It sounds like so much work. This is why I don't shop.
This is why you don't have kids. I know. Yes.
That's
then
terrible.
You have to cook the food you buy too.
That's ridiculous. That's no way to live. Marco Rubio weighed in on this. He was asked about the bathroom issue. He weighed on this.
I can't wait to hear.
And Marco Rubio agrees with Ted Cruz.
Do you believe biological males should be permitted to use women's room in federal facility and parks around the country? Federal facilities and parks around the country.
No, I think men's bathrooms are for men and women's bathrooms are for women. And I don't know what the problem we're trying to solve here is. I mean, we've been doing this way for ever. And I don't know. I just don't see this crisis. All of a sudden, they're scrambling to create all these solutions.
Yeah, is that a revolutionary concept? Is that an anachronism from a bygone era? The antiquated notion that the men's room is for men and the women's room is for women. And by the way, when will we immediately force the United Center, Comiskey Park, Wrigley Field, to have gender-neutral bathrooms? You have to go to the same bathroom as all the other dudes and using the trough.
No,
at Wrigley
that's
Field.
one benefit of going to the women's washroom at Wrigley Field. There's no line out the door like you guys have.
No,
and I'm not doing that trough thing. I've seen it.
Everybody,
I don't like what.
Everybody gets the trough in the brave new world.
Our parts don't work that way, Dan.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Jordan in Forest Park.
Well, I think I found something online this morning that the National Plumbers Association is moving towards eliminating the communal bathroom concept and going to single occupancy bathrooms. That's a joke. I just made that up. But that's, I think, basically we're going to is you're going to have individual single occupancy bathrooms, and then you'll have long lines outside of the doors.
Yeah. Right. Okay. All right, thanks for the call, Jordan. Appreciate it. Let's go to Kent in Lincoln Park.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, it's only a big deal if you have a child. If you have a child that goes into a bathroom and you see some guy going in there, I guarantee every man and woman that's the father or mother of that child is going to care. And furthermore, how about if you have a 14-year-old daughter that's in high school and a transgender boy wants to go in the locker room where she's naked? It's a bunch of crap.
Thanks for the call, Kent. Scott on the west side.
Oh, hey, Dan. Thanks for taking my call. I think this whole issue shows the effectiveness of the Obama administration to take our eyes off the real issues of the country, which is the floundering economy and the lack of jobs. Dan, what do Amy and Donald Trump have in common? They're both liberal Democrats pretending to be Republicans.
Thanks, Scott. Man,
Scott, tell me how I feel. Tell me who I am. Scott doesn't like me, but that's all right.
You and Scott need to have a beer summit. Something happened between you two
I don't know. Maybe it's. I don't know.
I don't know what.
Well,
you
I don't
did
know
to
what the
him.
breaking point. No.
I think you should
I don't
think.
know what the breaking point was between Scott and I.
I think you should think long and hard about what you did to Scott and how you're going to reconcile.
Oh, okay. I'll write a term paper on it.
Bruno in Naperville.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous that they allow this. But on the other hand, I also think it's ridiculous that women's sports reporters are allowed to be in men's sports locker rooms, even if the men don't like her there.
All right. Thanks for the call.
I disagree. That was one of the best nights of my life in the late 90s, being in the locker room in Atlanta when the Cubs were playing the Braves.
And then what happened?
Well, some things happened, Dan, but I ended up staying. I was the last reporter to leave. I was having a good time. I was doing some very thorough reporting.
Miss Jacobson, we're going to turn out the lights. You have to leave.
But wait, I have to find out, where did you go to kindergarten? I mean, I was asking all sorts of questions, but now they've changed the rules, so they shower, then change, and then go to their lockers. So you can't see them naked anymore.
You can't pull up the recliner
No.
and watch them shower
too soon.
just to make sure there's no horseplay. Dan and Amy coming to you live from Garvey's Office Products in Niles.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Today's forecast, a chilly one. It's going to be a high of just 53 degrees, but a lot cooler near the lake, and we can't rule out some rain, possibly a thunderstorm in the afternoon. And then tomorrow, even colder. It's going to be 49 degrees for a high, and rain and drizzle on and off throughout the day. Anything affecting the roadways, and how is that overnight road work? Is it picked up? Let's get the answer from Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. Most of the overnight work is gone now. There's still some work on the outbound Bishop Ford Freeway, 159th to 8094. 2 left lanes are closed, and 1 left lane is scheduled to remain closed till 7. There is a delay inbound from 115th to the Ryan, 23 minutes, 8094 to the merge. On the Ryan inbound, delays start around 31st. It's 21 minutes, 95th to the loop. Edens, Kennedy, still fine. Inbound Eisenhower, little congestion past Manheim. Inbound Stevenson, you've got a 4-minute delay from Harlem to Kedzie. Northbound Tri-State slow from the Reagan till way to the Eisenhower. Southbound work is clearing in that area out of the left lane. There is a crash report on I-65 near State Road 2 in Lowell. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
You know, most people think when the stock market falls, everyone loses money. But guess what? That's not true. There's a select group of people who reap in huge profits even when the market falls. How would you like to know what they know so you can make money in any market condition? Online Trading Academy has just produced a new video called How to Make Money When the Markets Fall. They would like to send you home with this free video when you attend one of their free half-day classes. This will help you understand how to make money when the market is up, down, or sideways. Once you understand how to make money in all kinds of market conditions, everything changes. Stop losing money. Stop losing sleep. Watch this video. Learn what Wall Street doesn't want you to know. Call Online Trading Academy now at 888-601-TRADE. That's 888-601-8723. 888-601-TRADE. Call 888-601-TRADE or online at tradingacademy.com.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. AM 560 On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook, and lunch are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invite you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
If medications haven't helped you treat your depression. Why haven't you tried TMS therapy offered by Theramind? Now there is a way to successfully treat your depression without the need for meds and their harmful side effects. TMS therapy is covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and Medicare. Don't continue to suffer needlessly. Call Theramind. Don't wait. Call Theramind now. 847-562-5868. The single greatest advancement to date in treating depression is TMS. It's an FDA-cleared, non-drug, safe, and effective treatment. TMS has already changed the lives of over 50,000 patients. Why not you? Visit TMSmind.com. Depression can be beaten, and without drugs. Call Theramind today, 847-562-5868, or get more info at TMSmind.com. That's Theramind at 847-562-5868, or online at TMSmind.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy coming to you live from Garvey's Office Products in Niles, part of our AM 560 Signature Bank business tour. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
What a warm welcome I received from my colleagues here. So, Amy, we were just talking about bathrooms, and that's a perfect segue to talk about the Weiner.
Oh, yes, and Anthony Weiner, remember him?
Oh, yes.
The ultimate person of sexting pictures of his junk to women that he thought loved him. Oh, I know, it's so gross. But there's a documentary that has just been released, and it's getting rave reviews. It was aired at the Sundance Film Festival, and people loved it. I mean, they said that this is a must-see chronicle behind-the-scenes work of what it's like to run a campaign, especially after you've had a big scandal. So remember when he ran for mayor of New York City?
Yeah,
and this is
that was
supposed to
his
be
big comeback.
Yeah, the big comeback that wasn't. And here's a taste of the trailer.
Why are they filming you?
I don't know. I most of the time I don't know why they're filming.
Are you somebody I'm supposed to know?
It's Republicans wrapping their arms around Republicans rather than doing the right thing on behalf of the heroes.
It was an absolute pleasure to see a Democrat not cowering.
Married to one of Hillary Clinton's closest advisors.
You never back down from anybody.
A photo of an anonymous man's bulging underwear
Was tweeted from Congressman Weiner's account.
Today I am announcing my resignation from Congress.
The punchline is
That's my favorite part of the whole trailer. Come on, pervert.
That's
but
awesome.
it's really fascinating. I mean, again, it aired at Sundance, and it was described as one of the best inside looks at a political campaign of all time.
I found that trailer a little limp.
Oh,
a little flaccid.
Stop it. But it's coming to a theater near you soon, and I'm going to see this. Because at one point in time, toward the end of the trailer, Anthony Weiner looks at the filmmaker, shakes his head, and he's almost in tears, and his face is all red. And he said, I don't know why I agreed to let a documentary film crew come in and do this.
See, you buried the lead. Anthony Weiner in tears. Now I'm going to see it. Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, coming to you live from Garvey's Office Products in Niles.
Misdemeanor Weiner.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, sorry I'm late. I'm the chair for the company picnic committee, and I'm overwhelmed with finding the perfect catering partner.
Don't be freaked out by that. Tasty Catering has done our company picnic every year for the last 5 years. I actually went to Tasty Catering's kitchen first to taste the food. They serve juicy burgers right from the grill, fresh salads, awesome sides, and fun foods for the kids. Last year, we even had delicious brisket and an entire pig roast.
Can they handle all the details? There's not much time to plan.
Planning was even easier. Tasty Catering handled every detail, from serving pieces to inflatables for the kids, the DJ, and of course, the bar area.
That's exactly what we're looking for.
Just go to tastycatering.com. The pricing was right, and our CFO signed off on the contract immediately.
The best company picnics start at tastycatering.com. View picnic menus and locations, entertainment options, and more. That's tastycatering.com.
ChicagoRadioDeals.com saves you money so you'll have room for improvement. Home improvement, the Grout Medic is offering shower touch-ups for only $110 to make your shower and tub area look like new again. This is a steam cleaning and sanitizing process on all of your tile surfaces. Now, the Grout Medic will reseal your grout and hand buff the tiles. It's a $250 retail value, and wait until you see the before and after results. It is a picture you can post on your Instagram. Also from the Grout Medic is a clean and color seal floor cleaning. This includes steam cleaning your grout, washing the tiles, and applying a color sealer to match. This process normally retails for $250, only $110 at ChicagoRadioDeals.com. So just go to ChicagoRadioDeals.com to get all the details. Again, that's ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
Mike Gallagher tells you who he voted for in the New York primary.
I voted for the Republican that I feel will be the most qualified to lead this country out of the darkness of 8 years of Barack Obama, who's best poised to beat the Hillary machine, can inspire, enlighten, and lead this country. That's the Republican I voted for.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Learn how to take the guesswork out of investing with Arlington Capital Management's Proactive Asset Allocation Strategy, or PAS. Learn about it live in Oak Brook on April 28th at 6:30 p.m. Call 855-471-5796 to reserve your space. Change in the market shouldn't take you by surprise. On average, markets tend to change cycles about once every 18 months. That's why Arlington Capital has developed proprietary tools designed to help them see beyond your investment horizon. Join Arlington Capital's president, Joe Lopresti, for a free seminar that can show you the secrets of PAS and what they can mean for your portfolio, especially in today's markets. You don't have to be at the mercy of the market. Take control of your investments and join Joe live in Oak Brook on April 28th at 6:30 p.m. Call 855-471-5796. That's 855-471-5796. That number again is 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
After last night's primary results, are you gloating for Trump or holding out for Cruz? 606.
And later, it's sentencing day for Denny Hastert. Individual A's attorney joins us at 6:36. You won't want to miss it. But first, back into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're following right now. Dennis Hastert to be sentenced today at a Chicago federal courtroom. A Lyons Senior Facility resident accused of killing his neighbors. Galesburg dealing with a major lead drinking water crisis. Body found in Lake Michigan has been ID'd as a missing Chicago woman. The Hebron Village president continues to plead not guilty to charges in McHenry County. White Sox pound the Blue Jays. Well, the Cubs found a way to win. Cloudy, breezy, a bit of rain this afternoon with a high of 53. Weather after Fox News and WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. A 5-state sweep for Donald Trump.
I started off with 17. I'm down now. I'm winning it. It's over. As far as I'm concerned, it's over. These two guys cannot win. There's no path.
Calling himself the presumptive nominee after resounding wins in Pennsylvania, Maryland, Connecticut, Delaware, and Rhode Island. He's now less than 300 delegates away from clinching the nomination.
Now the campaign focus turns to Indiana, a winner-take-all state with 57 delegates up for grabs. It's there we'll see if the Cruz-Kasich alliance will make a difference by consolidating to try to keep more delegates out of the Trump column.
Fox Radio's Gernal Scott. Ted Cruz urging Indiana to send a message
that the chosen candidates of Washington, the chosen candidates of big money and the lobbyists, they are not going to decide the Republican nominee.
But he's getting jabbed on social media for calling a basketball hoop a ring in the high school gym where they filmed Hoosiers. Also a big night for Hillary Clinton. She rallied in Philadelphia, where Fox Radio's John Decker is live.
Hillary Clinton put further distance between herself and Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, winning 4 out of 5 states, losing only Rhode Island and moving her closer to the Democratic presidential nomination. Still, she reached out to Sanders and his supporters at a victory party last night here in Philadelphia.
And I applaud Senator Sanders and his millions of supporters for challenging us to get unaccountable money out of our politics.
Sanders, for his part, shows no signs of getting out of the race, vowing to battle Clinton for the nomination all the way to the Democratic convention in July. Lisa?
John, the nation's heartland bracing for more severe weather, including possible tornadoes. The biggest threat from Texas to Iowa for a second day, but that same line of storms stretches east to Virginia and North Carolina. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Cloudy skies, 43 degrees, 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Former House Speaker Dennis Hastert stepping before a judge. He'll learn his punishment today in that hush money case centered on sex abuse allegations at a Chicago federal courtroom. Resident of a senior living facility in Lyons is accused of killing 2 of his neighbors. John Arnold has been charged in the murder of David Bosselar and an unidentified woman. Investigators believe Arnold got into an argument with the pair over the weekend about missing property. The widow of a motorist killed when a speeding van slammed into his car while he was stopped in a construction zone has been awarded $22.7 million. Teresa Swenson sued Missouri-based Hussman Corporation for the May 2012 death of her husband, Aaron. In a delayed report, the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office said the deaths of 2 boys found last year after an apparent fire in their Chatham home were homicides. Hebron Village President John Jacobson is pleading not guilty to drug and gun charges. The official entered that plea yesterday in a McHenry County courtroom. The city in western Illinois having its own version of Flint, Michigan lead water crisis. AM 560's David Stewart has the update on an Associated Press report into the safety of the water of Galesburg.
The federal EPA wants the city of Galesburg in Knox County to start providing bottled water or filters to residents because of high levels of lead in the drinking water. The EPA also wants the city to pay for additional testing for anyone who wants it. Galesburg's water has exceeded the federal standards for lead 22 times in the past 25 years. City officials believe the water becomes contaminated when it hits the lead service lines in many homes. They say replacing them would cost $10 million and take 10 years or more. The state EPA wants a study to determine if other less costly steps would prevent the lead from leaching from those service lines into the water. David Stewart, Chicago.
White Sox beat Toronto 10-1. Cubs over Milwaukee 4-3. The news, a service of Subway. Build your morning any way you want with a delicious breakfast sandwich from Subway. Try the Black Forest ham, egg white, and cheese on flatbread, or build your own with your choice of cheese, veggies, proteins like hearty steak. The Subway Sandwich Shop. Fresh is what we do. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The average Republican voter out there right now is looking for an outsider who will blow the whole damn thing up.
The Joe Walsh Show.
I don't want somebody who comes from Washington. I don't want somebody to get along with Democrats. Not this year. I want the whole system blown up. That's why Trump, or that's why Cruz.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This year, that's where Republican voters are at.
6:05 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center, the very latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy has slow traffic now from the River Road toll to Cumberland. 22 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Outbound fine for now at 20. The Edens is delay-free. Inbound Eisenhower, slow Manheim to 17. 32 minutes Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 29. Inbound Stevenson now running 40 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound fine at 34. Ryan is 23 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound fine at 15. Bishop Ford, you've got 10 minutes worth of delays from 130th to the merge. Outbound, there's a left lane closure from 159th to 8094 till 7. Northbound Tri-State Heavy at 290. The Indiana Toll Road has construction delays. Downtown, actually the West Loop, it's a crash. Washington at Clinton, right by the train station. Ogilvy, there's a truck into a hydrant. Traffic is a service of Grasshopper, the entrepreneur's phone system. Turn the world into your office with Grasshopper, the entrepreneur's phone system. Get a local or toll-free number, or bring your own. You can even have your voicemails transcribed and emailed to you. See how it works at grasshopper.com, the entrepreneur's phone system. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, here is meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, cloudy and breezy with a little rain later in the afternoon, high of 53. Breezy with rain and a thunderstorm tonight with a low 42. Occasional rain and drizzle tomorrow, a breezy day with a high of 49. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
42 at O'Hare. Next news at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by North States Steel, building America with products made in the USA. Visit northstatessteel.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Huge victories for Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. The presidential frontrunners getting closer to clinching their party's nomination, pivoting toward a general election.
I just want to thank everybody. This is a far bigger win than we even expected. All five and that's something that's really...
Let's go forward. Let's win the nomination, and in July, let's return as a unified party.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We are coming to you live this morning from Garvey's Office Products in Niles, Illinois. Wow, it's a rowdy office products showroom out here.
It's actually gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. This is part of our AM 560 business tour sponsored by Signature Bank. We like to get Amy back on the road to recall her time as a backup singer for the Thompson Twins back in the 80s when she used to do a lot of touring.
Exactly. I'm the best backup singer in the world. Thank you. But no, I used to spend some time in Niles. My grandparents lived here down the street, and lovely community, low property taxes because there's a lot of corporations, a lot of businesses here. And this place, Garvey's Office Products and Furniture, this place is really nice, Dan.
Yeah.
I've already picked out a few chairs that I want to roll on out of here, throw into the minivan, and we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll get caught. Maybe I won't.
Well,
maybe I already did it when I told you cats I was putting on makeup. That was just, what I was doing.
Master
Stealing.
criminal. When hopefully Garvey's doesn't get eminent domain like your father's property.
Exactly. Yes, my grandpa had a place near Niles Bowl and Amy Joy Donuts that the government decided they wanted that land, so they just took it.
Hopefully no one gets indicted today like Mayor Nick Blaze, the former mayor of Niles, and has to go to prison.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah.
Hate when that happens.
It's a colorful political history no matter where you go, even outside the corporate boundaries of Chicago. Speaking of colorful politics, last night, big wins for Donald Trump as expected, but I mean they were big
huge
wins. They're momentum drivers. 5 wins, no race that was closer than 30 points, and he has now opened up nearly a 400 delegate lead over Ted Cruz. But it seems there is general agreement that Indiana will be the last stand if Ted Cruz cannot stop Donald Trump in Indiana on Tuesday, and Cruz essentially was pointing to that. He anticipated what happened last night, and he was already looking ahead when he delivered his remarks shortly after the polls closed rather than waiting for the results that he knew were coming.
And so the media has told us the candidates in this race, the Republican and Democrat, they're both going to be New York liberals. But I got good news for you. Tonight, this campaign moves back to more favorable terrain.
And he was holding up a picture of USA Today. At CNN tagged that speech that he gave as just sore loser. That what do you do when you're losing? You bash the media. That's the way you can do it.
Well, he held up I don't agree with that assessment at all, but I'm not surprised to hear that was CNN's assessment.
Oh, yeah, they're flailing their arms.
I mean, Cruz held up the USA Today to point to the headline that said 40% of Republicans say they won't vote for Trump. That was the point he was making as he was looking ahead to Indiana. And it's a legitimate point. I think, as you'll see on the other side as well, you've got a lot of holdout Democrats that don't like Hillary that are dyed-in-the-wool, and I think most dyed-in-the-wool Republicans will come around to Trump, assuming he's the nominee. But you will have some holdouts. But obviously Ted Cruz is prosecuting his case. And that's part of it is Donald Trump is not electable. Donald Trump will lose to Hillary. Donald Trump's the only candidate who will lose to Hillary, and Ted Cruz won't. And that's part of his value proposition going into the Indiana primary, that he must win. If Trump is not stopped in Indiana, then the math becomes very favorable and the momentum is inexorable.
But he also had a key win in Pennsylvania, Donald Trump did, because they have 29 unbound delegates that they claim that they own now from Pennsylvania. And here's one of those unbound delegates.
There's a very definite possibility that I will wait until Cleveland until I make my decision of whom to support for the nomination.
And here's Kevin.
It's not about power. I think it's mostly about trying to make the right decision.
But here's the thing. That would be interesting as well, because let's say they stop Trump in Indiana. Let's say Cruz wins Indiana. Mm-hmm. And let's say that Trump, after June 7th and the California primary, is a few dozen delegates short. There is going to be immense pressure on those unbound Pennsylvania delegates. and immense pressure on the Republican Party generally. So if he's got a 400-500 delegate lead on Ted Cruz at the end of not 1237, you have a Republican primary electorate that, according to all the polling, suggests that if nobody gets to 1237, whoever has the most delegates should be the nominee. 2/3 of Republican primary voters believe that. So the pressure on those unbound delegates in Pennsylvania, the pressure on the Republican Party and delegates generally will be immense to push Trump over the top if he is, within shouting distance to 1237. I frankly have said this for, 5 weeks now, and no one. This is against the backdrop of all the professional operatives in D.C. announcing Trump's Stalingrad, one state after the other, turning out to be generally wrong. But I think Trump is still bigger than a candidate. He's a movement. The momentum, Ted Cruz, John Kasich, the Never Trump movement has not done enough creatively and quickly enough to stop the Trump momentum, to stop this revolt, to make people think a second time, to borrow a Pragerism. And I think he is going to get to 1237. I think he's going to be the nominee. But I don't blame Ted Cruz for fighting to the finish and using everything he can to try and open up an opportunity for a path to the nomination. There's nothing wrong with that. And the Trump attacks and Trump people who suggest that Ted Cruz should just lie down, that's silliness. This is competition. And because you're, to use a sports analogy, since we're in the
you're the only one who can.
Well, and that's right. And since we're turning to the Hoosier state, and there was
it's all about basketball,
ham-handed efforts to use sports analogies. I mean, if you're down by 15 with 10 minutes to go, do you say, well, the other team's up 15, so let's just phone it in? Absolutely, you should fight to the finish. Your supporters deserve that you do so, and you owe it to yourself to do so. That's the way you play the game, so to speak.
But can the Republican Party tell a plurality of voters that they aren't going to get what they want come the convention?
Well,
if they try to have a contested convention, because I think that there would be rioting.
Well,
I really do.
There would be a lot of acrimony.
You think?
There would be, yes.
312-642-5600. I mean, I think it would be chaos, honestly, because his Trump supporters aren't shy people, Dan. And they're
a lot
very
of Cruz
vocal in their
supporters aren't
support.
shy people either.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Or Kasich supporters, for that matter. I mean, I think one of the things that people need to take a step back and reflect upon is the Republican Party is not monolithic. So you heard from a couple of delegates that you just played.
Mm-hmm.
They're different individuals. The Republican Party delegates will make this decision if it comes to that. Again, I don't think it will, but if it does, they will make that decision. And the 54 unbound delegates in Pennsylvania, there's a great diversity of opinion.
But the Trump camp this morning is claiming they have definitely 29 of those unbound delegates.
That's the point.
Yeah.
There's great diversity of opinion. There's great diversity of professional background. And in Pennsylvania versus Illinois versus California versus Idaho, I mean, the idea that this is the Republican Party, some people are kind of creating this boogeyman. The Republican Party are all of these delegates that are not party poobahs, that are not lobbyists, that are not these power brokers. They're just people who ran to be delegate because they participate in their party, in their locality, and in their state. So a little bit of tempering of the kind of overheated, nefarious Republican Party evil empire rhetoric. It's a little bit, Death Star-ish. Tom in Schaumburg, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Do this, but I
Hey,
couldn't
Tom.
disagree. Good morning. I don't usually do this, but I can't agree with you today, and it's because Ted Cruz lost the race. He no longer has a path to 1237, which we know is so awful important. So he can't make it. So what's his only option here is to obstruct the guy who can make it, and then maybe sneak in through the back door. If you're in a race, and the only way you can win is tamper with the other guy's race car, did you really win? No, he can't.
Well, how is this tampering with any? He's competing in state after state for delegates. He competed last night. He lost 5. Why can't he compete in Indiana? What's wrong with that?
I would agree with you last week, but he no longer has a path to 1237. If he gets every single delegate here on in, he still doesn't have 1237. So what's the point? If he has an ounce of integrity, he would stand down and he would say, you know what, I'd rather let the people have Donald Trump than go in there and let the party pick who knows who.
Well, Tom, I appreciate that point, but it is worth noting, and the argument would be made, that there are more delegates assigned to non-Trump candidates than to Donald Trump, even at this point, if you look at it collectively. And there is still the open question of Trump getting to 1237. As I said, I think he will get there.
Get there.
But it's not a fait accompli.
You know what, Dan? I agree with you. It's a very convoluted process, and that's why we don't want to go into second or third or fourth ballots on this thing. We just want a winner. And the only winner we got right now is Donald Trump. And if Cruz has an ounce of integrity, he would understand this, and he would say, you know what, I'm not going to blow up the party. I'm not going to give the election to Hillary Clinton by taking a chance that some Jeb Bush-style guy is going to get the nomination because that's what the party wants. No, I'm just going to say, you know what, the people have spoken. I can't make it, and so Donald Trump it is.
Thanks for the call, Tom. Peggy on the north side.
Hi. I wanted to point something up that nobody's spoken about. It's the Supreme Court. Ted Cruz argued before the court. He knows it, and he knows the people he wants to pick. And we're very close to losing our country. I'm not so much concerned about the election as much as I am the people of this country. They've said, oh, we're stupid and all that kind of stuff, but Donald Trump spoke, and they knew he was telling the truth. And they called us dumb and everything. He was right. But he is not a candidate. He cannot do it. And the thing is, Cruz can. But the thing is about the court, and I want to make this point real clear. If right now, we have a court case that had to do with religious liberty, and it was divided 4-4. Had Scalia been there, we would have kept our religious liberty. Now it goes to the lower court. We've lost it.
Yes.
That is the right on which all of our other rights hang. If they actually manage to do this, you literally have lost the American experiment. You are no longer America the brave and free and all that stuff. You're going
the only silver lining with
Thanks for
Donald
the call,
Trump.
Peggy. I agree with you about the importance of the court.
Yeah, if Donald Trump became president, he would appoint Ted Cruz, don't you think, to be a Supreme Court justice?
No, I don't. Not necessarily. I mean,
Attorney General at the very least.
That would be nice. I would certainly think that would be an informed, inspired choice. Ted in Oak Forest.
In most races, if you run out of gas, they get you off the track.
Right. That's your sports analogy for Cruz. He's run out of gas, so we need
You said it. It's a race, Dan.
Thanks for the call, Ted. Mike in Monticello. Iowa.
Hey, good morning, Amy and Dan. Hey, first of all, Dan, I think you made a mistake earlier when you used the term Comiskey Park. I think Dear Leader has already changed the name. It's Kaminsky's Field now. Please keep note of that.
Noted. Thank you.
And I think Ted Cruz had his Gerald Ford tamale moment yesterday when he referred to the basketball hoop as a ring.
Yeah.
If you recall,
I think he was trying to say
Ford.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for
and
the
then
call,
he fell
Mike.
Down, yeah.
Bad moment for Cruz. Cringeworthy moment.
Was he at the top of the key and he said something, like, I'm in the lane, I'm outside the lane?
This is why stay in your zone of comfort. Don't venture into sports vernacular if you're not knowledgeable. Mike on the north side, you're on Chicago Morning Answer.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for taking my call. I think everybody's looking at this the wrong way. They're looking at it how it best benefits their candidate. Look at it from an outsider's point of view for a second. Over 80% of the delegates voted for either Trump or Cruz. Those delegates are all outsiders. They're all anti-establishment. When they get to Cleveland, they're not going to listen to party bosses. If anything, they're going to take over the convention, and they're going to hang the party bosses from the streetlights outside the convention center. This is going to be a bloodbath. The Republican Party will not survive it. They're going to try to dictate down to these people, and these people are going to fight back.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Mike. It's
Thanks,
a
Mike.
good point in terms of the combination of Cruz and Trump delegates and what it says about where the party is vis-a-vis its leadership. It's fair. Rick on the West Side.
Yeah, good morning. Listen, I want to speak to that lady that called Peggy. She was talking about we need somebody, a president that will select good judges for the Supreme Court. Well, I would like to inform her that it was Ted Cruz that gave us John Roberts. He influenced George Bush to put John Roberts on the Supreme Court. And if she thinks he's a good judge, this is a guy that invents a lot of thin air.
Thanks for the call, Rick. I mean, I don't know that he influenced the Bush selection, but he certainly voted to confirm John Roberts. Fair point. Dan and Amy coming to you live from Garvey's Office Products in Niles.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Get those winter coats and gloves out. Another chilly day here. A high of 53 degrees, but a lot cooler near the lake. And you factor in the wind, and it feels like it's in the 30s. And we can't rule out a chance of rain or a thunderstorm late this afternoon. And then tomorrow, cold with rain and drizzle on and off throughout the day. Tomorrow, only a high in the upper 40s. Anything better on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Inbound Eisenhower traffic is bottled up from Mannheim to Harlem and then from Kedzie to Racine, where there was a crash. It just cleared out of the 3 left lanes, but it's 45 minutes from Thorndale to downtown, outbound 31. The Edens now with a 2-minute delay, Peterson to the junction, 21 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. Kennedy, 23 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 21. Stevenson, looking at 45 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, 30 from the Tri-State, outbound it's okay. The Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State slow at 290, eastbound Adams Tollway, slow from Beecham to 53, and then Lee into the River Road Toll. The other Illinois tollways are good. Indiana Toll Road has those usual construction delays. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
The stock market may seem like a roller coaster ride, but your finances don't have to be. You may be wondering, is there another big correction on the horizon? If so, are you prepared? Or are you at the mercy of stockbrokers if it happens? Let Online Trading Academy teach you how to navigate the stock market during these changing times. They offer professional trading and investing education for every skill level. They'll teach you a rules-based strategy, trading on knowledge, not speculation, so you can identify market changes before they happen. Reserve your seat today for a free half-day training course at their state-of-the-art education facility in Lombard. Call 877-OTA-CHIC now. Mention this ad and Online Trading Academy. We'll send you a free home study video course valued at $247 just for calling. Call now, 877-OTA-CHIC.
Lately, it seems you're not feeling quite right, as if your body is working against you. Dr. Amy and Associates can help create a path to achieve optimal health. Experience personalized health care for your mind, body, and spirit at a practice that blends holistic and traditional medicine.
Dr. Amy has really helped me. After experiencing a divorce in my 50s, I wasn't sure how to handle the stress and changes I was about to encounter. I needed to find a new profession since my ex-husband and I had worked together at our own company, plus there were other challenges with our own grown kids, family, and friends. It was wonderful to have Dr. Amy's guidance through this difficult situation. She kept me on track and assured me I was thinking correctly. She made a very hard time easier, and I will forever be grateful. If you're going through some hard life struggles, I would highly recommend Dr. Amy and Associates.
Call Dr. Amy and Associates to experience a whole-person integrative approach to health and wellness. 630-980-1400 or visit dramyandassociates.com. Dr. Amy and Associates, empowering people, changing lives.
This is Eric Metaxas. You know I consider a college education important, but for many, leaving home to go off to college is not feasible, which is why I'm excited to tell you about Liberty University's online programs. Right now, more than 95,000 students around the world are enjoying the same quality education as Liberty's residential students in Lynchburg, Virginia. Liberty is consistently ranked among the top 10 online universities and offers hundreds of degrees. Liberty's online classes are taught in flexible, virtual classrooms by engaging and challenging professors. I know some of them. I've had them on my show. For them, teaching is more than a job, it's a calling. If you're looking for an affordable, quality college education without leaving home, check out Liberty's online programs. Just dial pound 250 on your cell and say the keywords Liberty University. Secure your education from the world's largest Christian university without leaving home. Dial pound 250 right now and say the keywords Liberty University.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so talking about Trump and Cruz. Now, on the other side, Hillary won 4 or 5 states. That race is over.
Yeah, it's over.
You know how you can tell is that Bernie Sanders started talking about which assisted living facility he's going to move into.
Stop it.
So,
no, Bernie Sanders actually came out yesterday and said he would not mind being Hillary's vice presidential nominee. He would not mind being on the ticket with her. Okay?
Yeah, well, she would.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, that's not going to
He
happen.
wants it, but
That's not going to happen, Bernie. Oh, Bernie.
Stop it. So who's supporting Hillary now?
Well, yes. So she's consolidating her support as evidenced by the performance last night. And Will Queig.
Will Queig.
Yeah,
Excuse you.
not from Caine Mutiny. Was it Captain Queig? Caine Mutiny, right? Yeah. Will
Sounds
Queig,
good to me.
Will Queig. No, not that Queig. He is head of a KKK chapter in California, Ku Klux Klan.
Oh.
Yeah. And he made it clear who the KKK is supporting.
The KKK endorses Hillary Clinton.
Really? And he's raised money for her.
We have given her $20,000 anonymously for her campaign fund. She is friends with the Klan. You know, a lot of people don't realize that.
She's friends with the Klan?
Friends with the Klan. A lot of
Well,
people
I'm
don't
sure
realize that.
This morning she's going to be giving that man the $20,000 back.
They denied receiving any money because he said he sent it to her anonymously.
No,
so
I know,
she
but yeah.
she could take it. But there's some other things people don't realize about the Klan, according to Mr. Queig.
She's a Democrat. The Klan has always been a Democratic organization.
Nice hat tip to Bob Bird there. And, of course, he was asked, this is Voctiv is the website that did this interview with Mr. Queig. He was asked, is this just a stalking horse to rough up Hillary on the behalf of Donald Trump?
I could care less about Donald Trump. He's a millionaire. He's a businessman. He's not a politician. He couldn't run this country more than he can run a county. For the KKK, Hillary Clinton is our choice.
I look forward to those Super PAC commercials. Now, of course, I don't really believe that Hillary Clinton would accept the support of the KKK or that she has any affiliation with it. But you know what? The reason we reported it is because when the media treats the random, goofy, ignorant white supremacists as somehow supporting a Republican candidate, Trump or anyone else, and we're supposed to take it seriously, we shouldn't. And so if we're not going to take it seriously for Hillary, then don't take it seriously when the Washington Press Corps reports it for Republicans. Dan and Amy coming to you live from Garvey's Office Products in Niles.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I do like taking Balance of Nature. I feel very good about that product. I think the integrity of producing the product is good, and I feel if I just had Balance of Nature, I'd be happy.
This is the first year of my life I've never gotten sick. I didn't even get a cold sore. I usually get 2 or 3 a year, and I love your product. You guys do a great job, and thank you very much, Doc.
You know what, I just feel as if out of everything out there, it just makes the most sense.
Since I've been taking that, no heartburn, because usually after I eat supper, hour after I eat supper, I'd get heartburn. I don't get heartburn no more. But I'll tell you right now, that's some product.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560. The Answer.
Individual A, he received $1.7 million from Denny Hastert. He won't be at the sentencing hearing, but coming up next, we will have his attorney right here, Christy Brown.
And at 6:45, hey, John Kerry, why the long face?
Oh, but first, let's go back into the newsroom and say good morning once again to Mike Scott.
43 degrees and cloudy skies, winds north at 13. The French prosecutor's office says the key suspect in last November's Paris attacks has been transferred to France. Salah Abdel-Salam is to go before investigating judges for eventual charges. Donald Trump says he's the Republican Party's presumptive nominee after a sweep of yesterday's primaries in 5 states. Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton, the projected winner in 4 of those states, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders is now projected as the Democratic winner in Rhode Island. The Hoosier State, the focus of the 2016 race for the White House now. Hillary Clinton speaking at Munster's Steel in Hammond yesterday.
I'm going to stand up to both CEOs at home and China abroad. We are not going to let either one of these forces affect us.
Republicans are most interested in the Hoosier State, where 57 delegates are up for grabs next week, and Republican presidential hopeful Ted Cruz is insisting Indiana is part of his path forward.
Now, the media want to say everything is decided. And the question is, can the state of Indiana stop the media's chosen Republican candidate?
Cruz dismissing speculation that frontrunner Donald Trump is closing in on the GOP nomination in spite of last night's sweep of the primaries. Folks in the Plains and Midwest waking up to a damage assessment today after severe weather tore through a number of states like Texas, Kansas, Indiana, and Missouri. America's Director of National Intelligence says ISIS cells are operating in Britain. James Clapper says terror cells like those that mounted the deadly Paris attacks are already set up in the UK. Chipotle feeling it in the pocketbook after a string of food-related illnesses at several restaurants. The chain said yesterday sales have dropped 30%. Former House Speaker Dennis Hastert stepping before a judge to learn his punishment in a hush money case centered on sex abuse allegations. A resident of a senior living facility in Lyons, accused of killing 2 of his neighbors, John Arnold, has been charged with the murder of David Bossler and an unidentified woman. And Cubs pitcher Jake Arrieta says it's flattering that some Major League teammates are spreading rumors that he used performance-enhancing drugs. Arrieta says teammates have heard the whispers from other Major League players. Manager Joe Maddon says everyone has become suspicious on the issue. Arrieta says he's always thrown 98 miles an hour, and he's in great shape because of genetics, diet, and a workout. Chicago sports, Cubs beat Milwaukee 4-3, Sox over Toronto 10-1. The news, a service of Subway, introducing the new Subway carved turkey and bacon sandwich. The premium carved turkey is thick cut, oven roasted to perfection. Subway, fresh is what we do. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The battle for the Republican nomination is racing towards the convention this summer in Cleveland.
Nobody is going to have enough delegates. We are going to go to a convention. It's going to be open.
Can Trump be stopped?
The only campaign that has beaten Donald Trump and the only campaign that can beat Donald Trump is this campaign.
Will there be a third-party run?
Donald Trump is a phony, a fraud.
What happens next?
We should make it pretty easily based on what I'm seeing.
Happens here.
So we won't have to worry about fighting at a convention.
This is AM 560. The Answer.
Florida's more than just beaches and theme parks. With shopping, nightlife, and outdoor adventures, there's always something new to discover. Find endless ways to play at visitflorida.com. On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to drill down and talk about the big ideas behind the big issues. That's where Upstream Ideas comes in. Upstream Ideas, online at upstream-ideas.com, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted orthodoxies. In other words, Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks Upstream. Go online now to upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to spur you on to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit more free, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Are you hiring? Do you know where to post your job to find the best candidates? Posting your job in one place isn't enough to find quality candidates. If you want to find the perfect hire, you need to post your job on all the top job sites. And now you can. With ZipRecruiter.com, you can post your job to 100 plus job sites, including social media networks like Facebook and Twitter, all with a single click. Find candidates in any city or industry nationwide. Just post once and watch your qualified candidates roll in to ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. No juggling emails or calls to your office. Quickly screen candidates, rate them, and hire the right person fast. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by over 400,000 businesses. And right now, listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/radiotalk. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radiotalk. One more time. To try it for free, go to ZipRecruiter.com/radiotalk.
6:37 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Crashes have led to big delays on the inbound Eisenhower from St. Charles to Manheim, where there's a crash. Then the delays continue to Harlem. And from Coster to Racine, it is an hour and 3 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. 46 minutes from Manheim, outbound 34 minutes to Thorndale. Eden's 25 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. Kennedy, now 35 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 23. Stevenson is 47 minutes from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 31 from the Tri-State, outbound 5. The Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 25 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Northbound Tri-State slow in pockets between 95th and LaGrange Road, and from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Traffic is a service of LifeLock. You use public Wi-Fi, that increases your chance of identity theft. One reason you need LifeLock. Free credit monitoring may show changes to your credit. LifeLock's U.S.-based team helps resolve identity theft issues. Sign up fast at LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Cloudy, breezy, bit of rain, high 53. It's 43 right now. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Steve Beeman Show with co-host Carol Parisi, empowering you Sunday evenings at 8 right here on AM 560.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now, and make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So another ignominious chapter in Illinois political history comes to an end of sorts today when Denny Hastert is sentenced in federal court. Amy, you're going down there to scalp a couple tickets, see if you can get into the hearing, right?
No, I was there the first time, and I reserved my seat, yes, for today's hearing. But if you're not there at a certain time, you're going in the overflow room.
If you,
it was a zoo last time around, and I can imagine it'll be the exact same this time around, too.
Yeah, if you're going to follow politics in Illinois as a reporter, you really need to buy a season pass to the federal court building to make all of these appointments. And prediction, I think Judge Durkin is going to give Denny Hastert real jail time. I think he is going to do the unusual thing of discarding the plea agreement and the sentencing recommendation of prosecutors of between 0 and 6 months. And I think you're talking about 3 or 4 years in prison for Denny Hastert, which is the minimum threshold for justice in this case, in my estimation.
But don't you think he'll get 5 years? I mean, that's a possibility, too. That's the most he could get.
It's a possibility. Possibility, but he's going to get real jail time. It's not going to be home confinement. It's not going to be a few months, in my best guesstimate. But there's the other matter that was raised this week. That's the civil case recently filed against Denny Hastert by Individual A. Individual A was the individual Denny Hastert was paying for past transgressions to keep Individual A quiet. And it was doing so apparently in a way that did not run afoul of the law, at least according to law enforcement, federal prosecutors, because they have not accused Individual A of extortion. Now Individual A has only received half of the $3.5 million that was agreed upon, apparently, between Individual A and Denny Hastert, has filed suit to get the rest of his money. And how that suit will proceed and how it will fare are very interesting legal questions. And for some indications on those matters, we're now joined by Christy Brown. She is a lawyer with the Patterson Law Firm, and she is representing Individual A in the aforesaid civil case. Christy, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Good morning.
Good morning. So can you explain this case for us, this civil case in which you're representing Individual A? Because it's, from an outsider's perspective, the whole arrangement between Individual A and Denny Hastert seems like it's walking a very fine line between a legitimate contractual arrangement and extortion. And so could you give us the background on what exactly was the nature of the deal between the two?
It was basically an agreement to compensate my client for the injuries that he suffered as a result of Mr. Hastert's activities. So it was similar to the settlement of a personal injury case. And like many settlements, it included a confidentiality provision. My client honored the contract in both respects. He didn't file a lawsuit. He didn't go to the press. And now he's just looking for Mr. Hastert to honor his end of the bargain.
So Individual A has received $1.7 million so far. You want the rest of the money. Did they sign an actual agreement, and was it notarized?
They did not sign a written contract. That was at Mr. Hastert's request. He didn't want anything to be in writing. So it's an oral contract between the two.
And the likelihood of success, I mean, Denny Hastert, after this legal process, is he going to be effectively judgment-proof? Is there real hope that he will have the kind of assets left that are required to satisfy this agreement between Individual A and Denny Hastert after he is sentenced today?
That's certainly our hope. We don't have any inside information as to Mr. Hastert's financial situation, and certainly his attorneys haven't reached out to us at all, let alone reached out to us to tell us that he does not have any assets.
How did Denny Hastert meet Individual A, and what did he allegedly do to him?
How did he meet Individual A? Mm-hmm. Mr. Hastert was a longtime family friend of Individual A's family, and I'm not going to get into the details of the abuse. I think those details may or may not come out in court. They will if necessary. But I don't really think it serves anybody's legitimate interest to go into those details.
And speaking of court, Individual A has chosen not to go to the sentencing hearing today. Is he going to be watching from a distance? Or are you going to be calling him to tell your client what happened?
I don't know whether he'll be watching from a distance, and certainly will be paying attention to what happens in court today. But I don't want to go into any communications that I might have with my client.
Is there was there any? I know Individual A spoke with federal prosecutors. That seems fairly clear. Was there any agreement, any provision of immunity ever granted Individual A, or was any question of Individual A's conduct with respect to this contractual arrangement, so to speak, was that never in question?
It really was never in question. When the FBI first began investigating, Mr. Hastert did accuse my client of extortion, and the FBI and the prosecutors investigated that. They had Mr. Hastert wear a wire in conversations with my client, and they concluded that it was not extortion. So there really was no concern with regard to immunity from the beginning.
Does your client, Individual A, want Denny Hastert to go to prison or be on probation, as he said?
He really just trusts in the judicial system to do whatever is the appropriate sentence in this situation. You have to keep in mind that Mr. Hastert's not being sentenced for the abuse. He's being sentenced for financial crimes, and so it's a little bit different.
Does he ever have any intention, Individual A, that is, of coming forward and dispensing with the cloak of anonymity?
No.
Okay.
And why not? I mean, why? I know he's had several offers. I'm sure you've fielded several phone calls for him to come forward, but How has this affected his life and made him the person that he is today?
Well, he's an extremely private person and really just does not want to. He's never sought out publicity, does not want to come forward publicly. These matters are extremely personal, embarrassing to anybody in his situation, and difficult to deal with. The abuse has caused him some long-term psychological problems, and he still struggles with those today.
What was the impetus for Individual A to come forward and communicate with Denny Hastert such that this arrangement was struck? I mean, why didn't he do it back when Denny Hastert was Speaker of the House or when he was a member of Congress? It seems that there was significant time that elapsed between the abuse and the arrangement.
And I think that's not uncommon with abuse victims, particularly people who are abused as children. I think a delayed reaction is pretty common, and that's essentially what happened here.
But in terms of the delayed reaction, what was the impetus for him to ultimately confront Denny Hastert about the abuse and strike this deal?
Well, I think like many abuse victims, there was a lot of self-blame and feeling like he was at fault for what happened and not really recognizing that what happened was abuse. And eventually, prior to coming to Mr. Hastert, he came to the realization that this was, in fact, an abusive situation, and that's when he came forward.
Is Individual A the one who called into C-SPAN and said, "Hi, Denny, do you remember me?"
I don't think so.
I wonder, did Individual A in the communication with investigators and federal prosecutors, did he point them in any other directions in terms of other victims? Is he friendly with, does he know other victims of Denny Hastert's?
I'm not aware that he pointed them in the direction of any other victims. At the time, remember, the investigation wasn't really an abuse investigation as much as it was an investigation into financial crime.
So Individual A was a family friend. He wasn't part of the wrestling team or part of the Explorers Club. Did he go to the Bahamas with him?
He did not. He was part of the wrestling team, but at the time the abuse occurred, it was the summer after his 8th grade year, so he wasn't in high school yet.
Okay. And is the Individual A still living in the area, and has he moved on? I mean, is he married? Does he have a family?
I'm not going to comment about the specifics of his life. As we've indicated in the complaint, he still resides in Illinois.
And next steps in the civil case, where is this in process?
Well, it'll take about 30 days before Mr. Hastert has to respond to the complaint. And once we see that response, we'll be able to move forward from there.
All right. She is Christy Brown. She's an attorney representing Individual A, who was the gentleman with the financial arrangement with Denny Hastert that has been so widely reported. Christy Brown from the Patterson Law Firm. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Denny Hastert currently on his way. Local media is following his black SUV that left his home moments ago, and his sentencing begins at 10 a.m. this morning at the Dirksen Federal Building. Weather for today, we're going to have some afternoon showers, possibly a thunderstorm. Chilly high of 53 degrees, and tomorrow it's even worse. It's going to be cold with rain and drizzle on and off throughout the day. One of those gray, yucky days, and chilly still, a high in the upper 40s. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Inbound Eisenhower, it's really heavy this morning after an earlier crash at Racine right before the Burns Circle. It is an hour and 3 minutes from Thorndale to downtown and 48 minutes from Manheim, outbound 34 to Thorndale. Eden's now 30 minutes Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 21, the Kennedy. 35 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 28, Stevenson. Delay starting at Weber Road. 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 40 from the Tri-State. Outbound okay. The Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State has slow pockets between 95th and the Hinsdale Oasis that stop and go from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway heavy, Roselle to 53 and Lee into the River Road Toll. The other Illinois tollways look okay. The Indiana Toll Road has construction delays. Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. A sweet first quarter for Hershey's. China says it's investing $1 billion in Arkansas. Saudi Arabia may be issuing tourist visas once again. Those stories next.
Honey, I'm really worried about our retirement funds.
Oh, me too. We lost so much value in the recession in the stock market. I'm worried we won't have enough to retire.
Jim next door told me that he had set up a new kind of IRA with a Gold Silver Group. He said how simple and safe it was. It's a private storage IRA, and we could have real gold and silver in our hands.
Really? You mean we can actually see it and touch it?
Absolutely. Jim said we could have all the benefits of an IRA to help build our retirement income. Bottom line, we would own a real tangible asset, and we would have the security of knowing we're protected no matter what the economy does. What do you think?
I think we need to find out how to get our own private storage IRA. We need to call the Gold Silver Group right now.
Are you ready to protect your future? Call 800-943-5702 now to find out how easy and safe it is to set up a private storage IRA with Gold Silver Group, and find out how you can qualify for up to $700 in free silver. All transactions are privately delivered and fully insured. Please call us now. 800-943-5702. 800-943-5702.
Reports today on mortgage applications and pending home sales will set much of the pace for the market. America's Sweet Tooth apparently helping Hershey's first quarter sales beat Wall Street targets for the 3 months ended April 3rd. Hershey earning $230 million. Chinese-owned Sun Paper announcing its plans for a $1 billion paper mill in southern Arkansas. Sun promises the factory will be one of the largest private investments in Arkansas history. Religiously conservative Saudi Arabia hasn't welcomed tourists in recent years, but a top Saudi prince now says that's about to change. He wants tourists to visit Saudi Arabia's deserts, its coastline, and volcanoes. No date has yet been set for tourist visas to begin being issued. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Mother's Day, Father's Day, right around the corner. And guess what? You can give them the gift of a great night's sleep by simply ordering a pillow from MyPillow.com. We still have the 2-for-1 offer, so you could keep one for yourself, give one to mom, give one to dad. They'll love you for it. MyPillow helps with chronic neck and back pains. It helps if you have insomnia, allergies, snoring problems. Oh, yeah. Give this bad boy a try. 60-day full money-back guarantee if you're not satisfied, but I know you'll be. American-made, tens of thousands of satisfied customers, and you could be one too. Go to MyPillow.com. Type Amy, A-M-Y, and the promo code 2 pillows for the price of one, or call their 800 number, 800-489-0201. Do it now, 800-489-0201. Be like the cool kids. Get a MyPillow. Go to MyPillow.com, promo code Amy.
There are two kinds of pain. Pain that goes away and the worst kind, chronic pain. If you suffer from chronic pain, life is not complete and it can be miserable. Unfortunately, most people use narcotics that mask the pain. You need to find the source of the chronic pain and get relief.
This is Dr. Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. We're serious players in the management of pain, and our team are national leaders, as well as being educators in the treatment of pain. We will work with you to diminish or eliminate your pain and help you get your life back. You know, there's a nationwide narcotics epidemic, and people are too quick to mask over chronic pain instead of looking for the cause and treating or eliminating the pain. Contact us. We will help you.
Go to mypainchicago.com. Call and make an appointment with some of the best pain people in the nation, located here in Chicago. mypainchicago.com. You or someone you know suffers in the suffering of chronic pain. mypainchicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, Dan and Amy, and we're coming to you live from Garvey's Office Products in Leafy, Niles, Illinois. And Amy, you know how...
Leafy.
Yeah, Leafy. They got trees here.
Yeah, that's right. They do have trees.
So, you know how Obama and the Democrats hate offshore accounts, right?
Yeah.
You know all the hand-wringing over the Panama Papers and those evil... millionaires and billionaires who have offshore interests.
Yeah, tax evasion.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, wait. Oh, wait, can I say it?
They got a problem in their own house.
Why the long face?
John Kerry.
Thank you.
Good one. He and his sugar mommy, Teresa Heinz Kerry, apparently have set up an elaborate set of Heinz Family Trust, because, you know, they're billionaires, invested more than $1 million in each of 11 separate offshore accounts, mainly hedge funds in the Cayman Islands. Oh. And this does not comport with the zeitgeist of the time in the Democrat Party in terms of potentially shielding assets from tax liability.
How did that information get leaked?
There's an investigation that was done by the Daily Color News Foundation. Now, it's worth noting, Secretary Kerry has said he has no offshore accounts. He is not the beneficiary of Hines family and marital trusts, and he has no decision-making power over them since they are entirely controlled by independent trustees. So the good news is for John Hines, may he rest in peace, is that the scumbag that your widow married, at least he's not getting your money. Dan and Amy coming to you live from Garvey's Office Products in Niles.
Oh, send them to the tally-ho stable.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
CertaPro painters are here for every stage of your life, from moving into a new home, creating the ideal nursery, to reinventing your living space. CertaPro painting experts create the perfect setting while you do life. They came to our home and brightened our walls and our moods so very quiet they wouldn't wake a baby. But the best part? They clean up after themselves so you don't have to do it. And now that spring is here, it is the perfect time to spruce up your home's exterior. Take a look at your home. Do you see chipping, peeling, fading? Well, leave it to CertaPro painting experts to refresh, renew, and protect your biggest investment, your home. Now is the time to call for your free estimate and schedule your exterior painting project. 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA. That's CERTA with a C. Or visit CertaPro.com today, CertaPro.com. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
Are you or someone you know facing foreclosure, losing the family home? You'd be not alone. See, people, we are in the aftermath of what is being revealed to have been the greatest financial crime spree in history, perpetrated by the Wall Street investment banks smuggling and packaging mortgages, and continuing this day by the mortgage servicers that service the mortgages. I'm Lou Bridges. I have a law firm I put together. We defend foreclosure actions. We help people do strategic defaults, short sales, and modifications that include restructuring. Call us for a free consultation. We'll tell you what to look for in hiring a foreclosure defense attorney. We'll tell you some of your options. We'll give you a free consultation. But whatever you do, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
Call 224-513-1231 or visit FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. That's 224-513-1231 or FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. Get real answers from a real foreclosure defense law firm.
Running a business is tough these days. From a president who claimed it,
You didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen.
to the mountains and mountains of taxes and regulations here in Illinois. But many companies, big and small, have persevered, serving their customers and communities. If that's you and your business, then AM 560 The Answer wants to celebrate your success and tell your story. It's the AM 560 Business Tour 2016, presented by Signature Bank. This spring, Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson will be broadcasting live from businesses in Illinois with success stories of overcoming the odds and thriving in spite of the challenging business environment. If your company fits this description, then we want to know about it so we can consider broadcasting from your location. Tell us your story. Visit 560theanswer.com/business and submit your information. That's 560theanswer.com/business. Sponsored in part by Flex Execs Management Solutions.
A cloudy, breezy, gray day ahead. Weather after Fox News and WIND Chicago News Times, 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. Donald Trump says it's all over.
This is a far bigger win than we even expected, all five.
And his sweep in the East last night wasn't even close. He won every county, getting up to at least 950 delegates, less than 300 away from clinching. Exit polls finding Trump capitalizing on voters angry with the federal government and who want an outsider. Today, he gives a foreign policy address.
A lot of expectation that he'll actually put some policy meat on the bone of what has to this point largely been rhetoric about goals, but not how he'd get there.
Fox's Carl Cameron. Ted Cruz already focusing on next week's primary in Indiana and beyond.
And Nebraska and North Dakota and Montana and Washington and California.
But he made a gaffe in Hoosier country that's now trending online.
The amazing thing is that basketball ring here in Indiana.
Trying to make a point about the height being the same nationwide, instead getting jabs for calling a hoop a ring. Bernie Sanders also looking ahead.
With your help,
We're going to win here in West Virginia.
After Hillary Clinton won 4 states last night, Fox Radio's John Decker live in Philadelphia.
By winning 4 out of 5 states, losing just Rhode Island, Hillary Clinton extended her delegate lead over Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, and she appeared to pivot to the general election, telling her supporters here in Philadelphia that Democrats have a winning message for November.
So we will build on a strong progressive tradition from Franklin Roosevelt to Barack Obama.
Sanders, meanwhile, appears to be fighting a losing battle as Clinton has 90% of the pledged delegates needed to win the Democratic nomination. Lisa?
John, former House Speaker Dennis Hastert facing sentencing today for banking violations in a hush money case stemming from sexual abuse allegations dating back to his time as a high school wrestling coach. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Cloudy and 44 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Former House Speaker Dennis Hastert stepping before a judge at the Dirksen Federal Building today to learn his punishment in a hush money case centered on sex abuse allegations. The 74-year-old Republican pleaded guilty to breaking banking laws. He sought to pay someone $3.5 million to conceal secrets from his past. A resident of a senior living facility in Lyons is accused of killing 2 of his neighbors. John Arnold has been charged in the murder of David Bossler and an unidentified woman. Both victims were found stabbed to death at the Riverwalk Senior Residences in Lyons. A city in western Illinois having its own version of the Flint, Michigan lead drinking water crisis. AM 560's David Stewart explains.
The federal EPA wants the city of Galesburg in Knox County to start providing bottled water or filters to residents because of high levels of lead in the drinking water. The EPA also wants the city to pay for additional testing for anyone who wants it. Galesburg's water has exceeded the federal standards for lead 22 times in the past 25 years. City officials believe the water becomes contaminated when it hits the lead service lines in many homes. They say replacing them would cost $10 million and take 10 years or more. The state EPA wants a study to determine if other less costly steps would prevent the lead from leaching from those service lines into the water. David Stewart, Chicago.
White Sox over Toronto 10-1 last night. Cubs beat Milwaukee 4-3. The news service of CiCi's Pizza, ready for an adventure in flavor. CiCi's brings 3 new flatbread pizzas to the Unlimited Buffet. Try the new Spinach Alfredo, Chicken Bacon Club, and Honey Barbecue Chicken. More flavor to explore for the same great value, $5 and change, only at CiCi's. Better believe it. 7:03 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Personal finance is 80% behavior, 20% head knowledge.
Dave Ramsey.
The reason you're in debt is behavior, not math. The way you get out of debt is behavior, change, not math. You can't borrow your way out of debt. How many times have you heard someone say, I had a whole bunch of credit card debt and I paid it off by getting a second mortgage? You didn't pay it off. You moved it.
The Dave Ramsey Show. Weeknights starting at 7, right before Michael Medved at 10. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
World, say hello to my 9 little friends. Remember us? We used to spend a lot of time with you, but that was before I got nail fungus. Yeah, nail fungus. I know, embarrassing, right? But what was a big toe like me supposed to do, eh? We tried doctors, took pills, creams, even considered surgery, but with that I could lose my nail, and there's still no guarantee that the fungus won't come back. Then I tried ClearTouch. ClearTouch is a little handheld device you use at home. ClearTouch is painless because it uses light, light, to travel fast and deep. All that time in hiding and this simple solution was right there at ClearTouch? Well, ClearTouch is even cleared by the FDA because it's safe and works. So if you're hiding your little friends, get ClearTouch. Now listen to the man.
Call 800-278-7144. That's 800-278-7144. That's 800-278-7144 or cleartouchnails.com.
Mother's Day is next week, and Pro Flowers is offering an amazing special. 100 stunning blooms for mom, plus a free glass vase for $19.99. Go to proflowers.com and enter the secret code 8000. But hurry, this deal expires this Friday. 100 colorful blooms for mom for $19.99 plus a free glass vase. The only way to get this amazing deal is to go to proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 8000.
Shipping charges not included. Satisfaction guarantee to your money back.
back. Life can be unpredictable. That's why you should take control of your family's future now with an estate plan bundle from LegalZoom. Not sure whether you need a last will or a living trust? LegalZoom's network of independent attorneys in 48 states can help you decide which one's right for you without billing by the hour, since LegalZoom isn't a law firm. Plus, updating your estate plan as your family and assets grow couldn't be easier. Enjoy your life. Use LegalZoom for the legal stuff. LegalZoom. Legal help is here.
7:06 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Edens has delays from Dempster to the junction. It's 30 minutes from Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 25. The Kennedy, 35 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 17 from Montrose, 10 on the Express. Outbound, 29 minutes to the airport. The Eisenhower, really heavy after a crash at Racine. An hour and 3 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, 46 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 39 to Thorndale with a crash before First Avenue in the left lane. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37. The Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Delays on the northbound Tri-Stater from 95th to 87th. Archer to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway jammed. Higgins to 53. Reagan Tollway, little heavy around Eola. Veterans Memorial heavy, 63rd to the Reagan Tollway and Roosevelt to St. Charles. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
A breezy day today with wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. A little rain later in the afternoon. Otherwise, it will be cloudy throughout the day with a high of 53. Then remaining breezy tonight with rain and a thunderstorm, a low 42. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
44 at O'Hare, 42 along the lakefront. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Huge victories for Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. The presidential frontrunners getting closer to clinching their party's nomination, pivoting toward a general election.
I just want to thank everybody. This is a far bigger win than we even expected, all five. And that's something that's really...
Let's go forward. Let's win the nomination. And in July, let's return as a unified party.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We're coming to you live from Garvey's Office Products in scenic Niles, Illinois. This is part of our...
Now the employees have arrived, the owners too.
This is a place of business. Please keep it down. This is part of the AM 560 business tour sponsored by Signature Bank. We're getting out and getting on tour like Amy did back in the day when she was a roadie for Oingo Boingo during the 80s.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
But this is a great company. I mean, they won the Illinois Family Business of the Year award, and there's a lot of stuff you can buy here. Office supplies, furniture, janitorial supplies. It goes on. And we'll speak with Kevin Garvey, who's the Vice President of Sales for Garvey Office Products later on this hour.
Well, Ted Cruz was speaking yesterday in advance of the results coming in because he knew what the results were going to be. Looking forward to Indiana. He's got to get his Hoosier on, don't you know?
Yeah, because what do they love most in Indiana, Dan?
Basketball.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I'm as clueless about the, well, actually.
No, you're not. Because anything with a ball you're good at. Volleyball, basketball, golf.
True.
Yes, know.
And not to mention I can recite the entire screenplay from Hoosiers.
Yes, you can.
And so I was pretending to be as clueless about basketball as Ted Cruz was. Boy, you couldn't draw a starker contrast. Donald Trump's going to be in Indiana today with the general, Bobby Knight. And Ted Cruz was in the Hickory Gym, you know, the fictional, I mean, it's Milan. It's a real school, but Hickory from the movie. And he tried to talk basketball, and that didn't work out.
10 feet!
You know, the amazing thing is that basketball rim here in Indiana is the same height as it is in New York City and every other place in this country.
Yeah,
and there is nothing that Hoosiers cannot do.
That was Ted Cruz trying to talk rings, I guess. Most people say hoops. You can go down and shoot some rings. I guess he was doing his Myra Fleener impersonation. He was going to throw that leather ball through that metal hoop.
Well, that sounds better than through the ring.
Yeah, not a great moment for Ted Cruz. Maybe just kind of stick to the four corners of your rap and don't try and do the Hoosier patois. It doesn't work well for you. But the question is, after Trump's resounding victories yesterday, even as expected as they were, I mean, wins all 5 of the primaries, and none by a lesser margin than 30%. I mean, just absolute blowouts. And, of course, all the media coverage of him being the presumptive nominee, which is what he claimed he was last night.
Yeah, the lead was, 5 for 5. He swept all the states, huge margins. He can't be stopped.
So into those headwinds goes Ted Cruz and a lot of the Never Trump supporters with 6 days to go before the Indiana primary. And if Trump wins the Indiana primary, which is close right now, according to the Real Clear Politics average, then this is truly a done deal at that juncture. So the question is, will Never Trump move to Never Hillary? And for the answer to that question and many others, we're now joined by our friend Ben Dominique, who is the publisher at The Federalist, thefederalist.com. Ben, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good to be with you.
So what about that question? Are you ready to say that this is going to be Trump and he's going to be 1237, or are we going to hold our powder for Indiana at least?
Well, first off, I think I should clarify I'm not part of the Never Trump movement, just in the
I'm not.
No,
I
I'm
understand.
opposed to it. Okay,
yeah.
But here's the thing that I do think about this. There is an acknowledgement, I think, by a lot of people that this was going to be where the mountains were on the map for Ted Cruz and for the opposition to Donald Trump generally. One thing that I think people should recognize is that despite the fact that Donald Trump is kind of being depicted today as sweeping all of these states, the fact is that the slate that he actually elected in Pennsylvania, which is unbound, looks to be a little less in his favor than you would have maybe anticipated, given the way that coverage was going in the evening last night. And so that actually gives some hope to people like Ted Cruz, who want to go to a contested convention and see those delegates make a decision based on the current polling and things of that nature. It looks like a scenario where Donald Trump might go down to a flaming defeat to Hillary Clinton and make a different choice. Indiana, though, is his Alamo. I mean, this is a situation where if he is unable to hold on to Indiana, if as we've seen already, the Kasich supporters there are unwilling to defect over to support him, then, as you said, this really is effectively over because it creates a much lower threshold for Donald Trump to meet in California, which has a discombobulated system of congressional level delegations that would go to the convention. And so that creates a scenario where basically if Cruz is unable to win Indiana, despite the fact that he's likely to pick up a couple of other western states over the next couple of weeks, it effectively turns it into a mathematical impossibility for anyone to stop Trump. And I think that's an indication of, frankly, how unwilling the party was, even after the exit of Marco Rubio a little more than a month ago, to coalesce around Ted Cruz as the only option that would prevent Donald Trump from being the nominee. Their inability to do that and to do that earlier, I think, really created the scenario.
Well, what do you think of the teaming up of Kasich and Cruz? I mean, they're still stumbling about their collaboration. Kasich was on with Matt Lauer saying that he still wants voters to vote for him in Indiana. I mean, why can't they get their message straight? Because that doesn't really help their fight.
John Kasich is the worst sidekick ever. He's just really terrible at this. He's always been someone who is kind of a prickly personality, and he's unwilling to indicate to people that they should support a candidate other than him. The idea, however, that anybody supporting anybody other than Cruz in Indiana would lead to a scenario where Kasich would have any kind of viability at a convention is simply ludicrous. So I don't know whether it's that he can't do math, or he's just, incapable of saying nice things about other people. The greatest fiction of this entire 2016 cycle is that John Kasich is a nice person. He's not, and people who know him know that he's not. And I think that in this scenario, his inability to kind of recognize the stakes here and to ally himself with Ted Cruz in a significant manner has led to this kind of discombobulation. I think it was silly for them to even engage in this, frankly, because what we've seen Kasich support, particularly what we saw last night, is that it's much weaker than he actually polls. He underperformed his poll numbers in every single state last night by a significant amount. He underperformed his poll numbers in Wisconsin, where they obviously didn't have a deal like this, by a significant amount. And I anticipate that he would have underperformed his numbers in Indiana anyway by a significant amount, because he doesn't have a campaign operation and because no one realistically believes that he'll be the nominee. And so because of that, there's just not the kind of motivation to go out and vote for him.
And what about just going back to the Never Trump movement? I mean, it's mainly being driven by conservative intellectuals, National Review types and such. And I understand, I respect the position.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that pretty strongly, actually. I don't think that the Never Trump movement has any... so the intellectual sector of the Republican sort of coalition is extremely small. But when we look at the Never Trump coalition, when we look at the actual poll numbers, it looks like American evangelicals, particularly evangelical women. They're the ones who've been most turned off by Donald Trump over the course of the past month. They're also voters who have been traditionally very loyal to the Republican Party. They're the reason why Mitt Romney won white women. And so the thing that I think we need to understand about the Never Trump movement is it's not really a hashtag-driven thing. It's not really a conservative intellectual-driven thing. It's that socially conservative women who have traditionally voted Republican find Donald Trump to be completely insulting and unacceptable and are unwilling to come out for him. And that's a much bigger problem than whether Donald Trump could convince the nice folks at National Review to come out.
I'm not a socially conservative woman, but I'm not voting for Donald Trump because I think he just capitalizes on demoralizing women, and I'm sick of his behavior, and I keep waiting for him to grow up, to accept more of a mature tone, and he doesn't do it.
Yeah, so that's the larger question then. Include Jonah and Kevin Williamson and the intellectuals along with evangelicals. I mean, I understand 40% of self-identified Republican primary voters are saying they will not support Trump right now, so it's bigger than the staff at National Review and some of these other outlets. I get that. So the question becomes, does Never Hillary become more of a pressing mission than Never Trump, or do you see this potentially being a lingering problem for Trump, even the unpopularity of Hillary, that he doesn't get the participation he needs from the base, even as he reaches out and brings in more quote-unquote Reagan Democrats?
I think it is going to be a lingering problem, and I really honestly don't see how he's going to turn it around. He has a very short frame of time in order to convince a number of people who he has basically insulted and demoralized to a point at which they're more negative on a Republican nominee than we've ever seen them in the entire, modern history of the Republican Party. We just have not seen these types of negatives for someone. And the fact that the Republican Party is choosing to nominate basically the one candidate in the modern era who's more unpopular than Hillary Clinton, particularly one who can be exploited on the issues related to the way that women are treated, is a real danger for him. And I think that this is something that's going to dog him all the way until November. There's just no sign from Donald Trump at this stage that he has any interest in unifying the coalition that he would need in order to get elected in November. At every turn, he has sort of pivoted away from unification to gloating and to insulting and to basically going after his opponents well past the point where he has been the likeliest nominee, which he has been now basically for a month. The difference is that in the past or in the case of other politicians, you would see them trying to reach out with an olive branch to undo some of the negativity that has been built up over the course of this primary. Instead, he's doubling down, and he's basically suggesting that he doesn't need these people to support him, given the fact that he's experiencing this kind of high turnout and the sort of things that within the primary are doing very well. The likely scenario there is that he's going to go into an election in November with the highest negatives among women that we've ever seen from a Republican nominee. And I simply don't see what he could do possibly to turn that around.
Well, Bill Galston has an interesting piece in the Wall Street Journal today where he basically says Reaganism is dead and Trump killed it. You have the presumptive nominee, as he terms himself, a mercantilist isolationist, as Galston describes him. I think that's a fair description. And he goes on to say whether Trump wins or not, the Republican Party will not return to what it once was. I wonder if you agree with that, and you think, and if you do, where you think the Republican Party goes after Trump.
I don't think I agree with that, with the caveat that I haven't had the time to read Galston's piece yet. What I would say is that the Republican Party is very different depending on whether Trump wins the presidency or not. If Trump goes down to the kind of defeat that the current polls suggest, let's assume the likeliest scenario here: Trump becomes the nominee, and then he loses to Hillary Clinton by 8 to 10 points, which is where the Real Clear Politics average is at the moment. A Trumpism that is defeated in that nature does not take over the party. The people who are within his orbit, who are part of this coalition right now, are very closely tied to him. And frankly, I don't think that this is a situation where you could anticipate him spending the next several years as the leader of a party if he goes down to their most significant defeat since Barry Goldwater. And that's just not something that I think would happen necessarily. Now, the party will change. It will have to include some portions of the Trump coalition. It will have to experience the tension that comes with a bigger tent because of that. But Trump himself and kind of the main architecture of Trumpism depends on a lot of disaffected voters, people who typically do not come out to vote. And frankly, I think that if he goes down to a defeat of 8 to 10 points, that's not going to encourage them to be more active within Republican circles. In fact, I think it would discourage them from voting in the future or being part of the Republican coalition.
All right, he is Ben Domenech, publisher of The Federalist, thefederalist.com, that is. Ben, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Great to be with you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Donald Trump's new attack on the Hill Dog. If she were a man, what would it be like? But first, here's your forecast. Today, we're going to have a pretty gray around here, I should say. Cloudy skies all day. A chance of a thunderstorm this afternoon. A high in the low 50s. And tomorrow, even worse, even colder. We're going to have drizzle, rain on and off throughout the day. Highs only in the upper 40s. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Delamonte.
Thank you, Amy. The Eisenhower is pretty rough in both directions thanks to earlier crashes. In fact, there's a new one now at Manheim in the left lane. The delays start around St. Charles. It is an hour and 5 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, about 48 minutes from Manheim, outbound 48 to Thorndale after a crash near First Avenue. Eden's 30 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. Kennedy, 45 minutes either way between O'Hare and downtown. Stevenson, an hour and 5 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 50 minutes from the Tri-State, outbound 37 minutes to 355. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. To always have significant delays. Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
It's time for a little R&R, courtesy of ChicagoRadioDeals.com. 2 words, Door County. Oh, yeah, head on up to the White Lace Inn, a gorgeous bed and breakfast in Sturgeon Bay. Now, the White Lace Inn features 18 inviting guest rooms and suites and 4 elegant turn-of-the-century neighboring homes. Enjoy the gardens, gazebos, the glory that is Door County. Now, this is a $300 gift certificate for only $150 at ChicagoRadioDeals.com. It can be applied to overnight stays or items in their store. This exclusive deal is limited, so do not wait. Hey, if you need to stay closer to home but want a night out, then laugh out loud and be a part of the show at Comedy Sports Improv. Tickets are normally $44 a pair, but find them at CRD for only $22. And explore new flavors, experiencing Gaylord Fine Indian cuisine in Schaumburg. Gaylord services an extensive lunch and dinner menu of delicious Indian food. This deal is only $25 for a $50 gift card. Make a date night and take advantage of all these restaurant deals waiting for you only at ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
Honey, please pass me my cocktail.
Here you go, babe. Sunset sure is pretty after a long day at the beach.
I could get used to living life in swimwear.
We can start booking our next trip tomorrow while sitting around at the pool.
You've been pretty lucky that you've been able to spend some quality time in the sun. Something that you may not be so lucky with is the fact that 1 in 5 people will develop skin cancer in their lifetime. At Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates, they know that most people are unaware of the effects that a lifetime of sun can have on their skin. If you've been sunburned in your lifetime, it's time to have your skin checked out. Call Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates at 855-560-SKIN. or visit skinhealthpros.com. The doctors at Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates have your skin health covered. Skin cancer kills, so today's the day to get your skin checked. Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates, 855-560-SKIN, or visit skinhealthpros.com. Healthy skin, healthy body, healthy, happy you.
Stay informed on current issues affecting the respect of human life and the family. Attend the Pro-Life Legislature Update sponsored by Lake County Right to Life, McHenry County Right to Life, and Illinois Citizens for Life. State Representative Barbara Wheeler, State Representative Sherry Jessel, and Senator Dan McConkey will update you with information direct from the floor in Springfield and Washington, D.C. Several bills are up for legislation affecting insurance rights, taxpayer issues, right of conscience laws, and more, all of which will have a direct effect on you and your family. The Pro-Life Legislature Update is this Saturday, April 30th, from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Marytown on Park Avenue in Libertyville. Seating is free of charge and includes breakfast. Donations will be accepted at the event. In a society where we receive messages in 140 characters or less, this is an opportunity to get informed and learn the facts. Please call for reservations, 847-223-7022, or visit lcrtl.org.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy coming to you live from Garvey's Office Products in Niles, part of our AM 560 business tour, sponsored by Signature Bank. Garvey's Office Products, Illinois Family Business of the Year recipient. GetGarveys.com is the website. We'll be talking to Kevin Garvey, the VP of Sales, one of the many, many Garveys that are roaming around these parts.
6, I think, or 5 brothers total.
Yeah.
But last night, during his big victory speech, because he won huge, he dominated. He really did. He dominated in all 5 states. But he got up there and he said, if Hillary were a man, she wouldn't get 5% of the vote. And while he was saying that, Mary Pat Christie, Chris Christie's wife, was standing right behind him, and she was rolling her eyes.
Well, I think the only card she has is the woman's card. She's got nothing else going. And frankly, if Hillary Clinton were a man, I don't think she'd get 5% of the vote. The only thing she's got going is the woman's card. And the beautiful thing is women don't like her, okay?
So how does she have the women's card, but women aren't voting for her?
Well,
can I have a translation here?
Well, first of all, the reason Mary Pat Christie was rolling her eyes was Chris Christie kept tugging at her, saying, "Can we go? I'm hungry." And so it was that. I think it was directed at Chris.
Oh, that's what it was.
It wasn't at Trump.
But you could clearly see her if you look at the video. It's comical.
Yeah. So is Trump wrong? No, he's not wrong. I mean, she plays the gender card all the time. Isn't she the one who started this campaign by saying, wouldn't it be nice to have a woman in the White House?
Yeah, she did, because the first time around in 2007, 2008, she didn't bring up the fact that she was a woman. She left that, at home
and that's
in the
why,
kitchen.
and that's why people didn't know.
Yeah,
people had no idea she was a woman in 2008. It wasn't until this cycle where she has informed people that she's a woman that now they know.
And she wants to break the glass ceiling and be the first female president.
Trump is using his typical hyperbole in describing her vote threshold if she were not a woman, but he's pointing to a truism, which is that she uses the gender card, that the Democrats, the left, play gender and race identity politics. That didn't bother me as much as it bothered Mary Pat.
She was very annoyed.
Raymond in Fox Lake, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yes, Dan and Amy and whoever that guest you had. Once again, an opportunity to explain why anyone in their right mind would vote for Ted Cruz, and not one of you came up with one reason. You spent the whole interview talking about Donald Trump, but I will answer your question, what will happen to the Republican Party. If the Republicans do not nominate Donald Trump, they are finished. They are going to the ash heap of history, thanks to people like you and Bill Kristol and all you other knuckleheads. You better nominate Trump or you're done.
Thanks for the call, Raymond.
Do you want me to fill out your resignation letter now?
Worst Trump surrogate in the Midwest, Raymond from Fox Lake.
Oh, he's not that bad.
Coming to you live from Garvey's Office Products in Niles.
And I suppose it's only fair to say, don't you someday want to see a woman president of the United States of America?
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
If you're serious about selling your home, now is the time. Supply is low, and it's a great seller's market in many Chicagoland neighborhoods. I've done the research, and along with my Salem Radio colleagues, Mike Gallagher and Michael Medved, we all recommend that you call Saul. Saul Z and the Z team are so good that if they don't sell your home in 59 days, they'll sell it for free, guaranteed. Saul is ranked 106 out of 1.2 million agents by the Wall Street Journal. His proven marketing system is so effective that he sells on average a home every single day, attracting multiple full-price offers. That demand helps sell your home fast and at the highest price. It's a no-brainer. If I were selling a home in Chicagoland, I'd call Saul. Go online to callsaul.net or call Saul now at 888-346-0666. That's callsaul, S-A-U-L.net, or 888-346-0666. You'd better call Saul.
Trust most factor in hiring a contractor. Dependable Construction and its founder, Joe Baran, built their business over 3 decades by being trustworthy. Tuck pointing, brick, and roofing is Joe's specialty. Joe started as a laborer and progressed to an expert tuck pointer and bricklayer. In addition to masonry and roofing, Joe and Dependable Construction have grown to become a full-service Angie's List and Better Business Bureau award-winning contractor. For brick, masonry, and roofing on residential, commercial, or industrial projects, to any other type of remodeling or construction, you'll deal directly with owner Joe Baran. Call Joe Baran at Dependable Construction, an AM560 Feed the Children business benefactor. Mention AM560 and receive a 10% discount on most jobs. Call 773-244-1091. That's 773-244-1091, or visit tuckpointchicago.net. That's tuckpointchicago.net. Call 773-244-1091.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, meet the Garveys, and later why the state of Minnesota is happy that Prince died. But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
A great day ahead, 45 degrees, clouds, winds east at 13, and 5 convincing primary victories in hand. Donald Trump strengthening his grip this month on the Republican presidential race.
I like to celebrate when things are over. We're just about there. You have two people that are really hanging around, and they did very poorly last night, and we very much exceeded what everybody thought. I mean, we're in the 60s.
Trump headed to Indiana today to deliver a foreign policy speech. Meantime, Democrat Hillary Clinton is almost 90% of the way to her party's nomination, winning 4 out of 5 Northeast primaries.
Not going to let Donald Trump run from the extremism and misogyny that he has spewed over the course of the last year, nor over the course of his entire professional career.
Clinton turning her surrogates on Trump, pivoting to the center, she says, and the general election. Voters head to the polls in Indiana next week. Paris attack suspect Salah Abdul-Salam is now in French custody and is expected to go before investigating judges for eventual charges. He's wanted in France for his role in the November Paris attacks that killed 130. Damage assessment, the order of the day in many communities across the Plains states and the Midwest, as the National Weather Service says tornadoes ripped through Texas, Indiana, Kansas, and Missouri. Former House Speaker Dennis Hastert stepping before a judge at the Dirksen Federal Building today to learn his punishment in a hush money case centered on sex abuse allegations. A resident of a senior living facility in Lyons is accused of killing 2 of his neighbors. John Arnold is charged in the murder of David Bossler and an unidentified woman. Investigators believe Arnold got into an argument with the pair over the weekend about missing property. White Sox beat Toronto, Cubs over Milwaukee. The news service of LifeLock. Do you use public Wi-Fi? Well, that increases your chances of identity theft. One reason you need LifeLock, free credit monitoring. It may show changes to your credit. LifeLock's U.S.-based team helps resolve identity theft issues. Sign up fast at LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. 7:34, time to check the climate of your business with AirComfort.com. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher tells you who he voted for in the New York primary.
I voted for the Republican that I feel will be the most qualified to lead this country out of the darkness of 8 years of Barack Obama, who's best poised to beat the Hillary machine, can inspire, enlighten, and lead this country. That's the Republican I voted for.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
Hi, I'm Lex Howard, CEO of Balance of Nature. I occasionally take new customer calls, and often people tell me that they have been hearing our advertisements for years. What are you waiting for? Start now and begin experiencing the benefits of Balance of Nature in your life.
I'm sleeping better. Usually I fall asleep, I would wake up and then have a problem falling back asleep. And I don't have that anymore. I mean,
Good.
Maybe once in a blue moon, but it hasn't happened really that much at all.
With the Balance of Nature, actually, I don't feel hungry anymore with the Balance of Nature and the fiber and spice. I feel energetic, and my head is pretty clear, and I've only been taking it for a week.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
7:36 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Edens has delays starting around Devon, 30 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 26. The Kennedy now jammed all the way in from Canfield, an hour and 10 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 35 minutes from Montrose, 27 on the Express, outbound 45 minutes to O'Hare. The Eisenhower's 56 minutes Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 48. Stevenson, an hour and 5 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37 minutes. The Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State slow in pockets from 95th to LaGrange Road. From the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis and Roosevelt to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway very slow, Higgins to 53. Westbound Meacham to Roselle with a crash in the two right lanes. Traffic is a service of CiCi's Pizza. Ready for an adventure and flavor? CiCi's brings 3 new flatbed pizzas to the Unlimited Buffet. Try the new Spinach Alfredo, Chicken Bacon Club, and Honey Barbecue Chicken. More flavor to explore for the same great value, just $5 and change. Only at CiCi's. Better, believe it. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Cloudy, breezy, bit of rain this afternoon, and a high of 53. 45 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by attorney John DeWatt, an attorney with heart at thinkingoutsidetheboxlaw.com.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Apropos, I like it.
Dan and Amy, good morning. We are coming to you live this morning from Garvey's Products in Niles, part of our AM 560 Signature Bank Business Tour. And we're pleased to be joined by Kevin Garvey, who's the Vice President of Sales for Garvey Office Products, celebrating their 90th year in business. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for coming, guys. Really
Huge,
appreciate you making
huge accomplishment. 90 years.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah, 45 of those years have been business been owned by the Garveys. My dad worked for the original guy, bought the business from him, and we bought the business from my dad about 27 years ago. So.
And when you say we, I mean you really mean we. There's like
1,000 Garveys.
There's a lot of Garveys roaming around.
So the thing I like to say is my parents took that be fruitful and multiple things seriously,
absolutely.
right? So there's 8 Garvey kids, 6 of us are in the business.
Wow. And what kind of business? Just talk about, what products you sell here, because I'm looking through this catalog,
right,
which is as thick as a Chicago phone book here.
It is.
And you sell everything from, food to office supplies to chairs, printers.
Yeah. So originally, when I first joined the company 32 years ago, it was mostly consumable office supplies, so Post-it notes and pens, and actually copy paper really didn't even exist then because it was Mimeo paper back then. But
dating yourself.
Yeah, I know, right? No. But the business has changed now. We're very heavy into furniture. We're in our 4,000 square foot Han furniture showroom.
It kind of feels like being on the set of The Price is Right.
I know. This is a showcase showdown.
Yeah.
So furniture is a big part of our business. Break room, it's unbelievable how many companies now are feeding their employees. And so we're selling snacks and coffee. And it's the office product side of it. People are using less paper. Everyone's trying to go to a paperless situation. So our business is really morphed into other categories, and technology too is a big part of the business.
You've got upwards of 100 employees, right? That's right. And so, what are the challenges of doing business? I know you always haven't been in Niles. You kind of migrated from Chicago, but doing business in the Chicagoland area in the modern context within your sector.
Okay, so we sell Chicago-based businesses. We do have a national presence through a distribution partner. So many of our customers have remote offices in Tampa or Boston or something like that. But most of our customers, all of our customers really are headquartered in Chicago. I guess the biggest challenge we have is there are fewer companies every year to sell, right? So like I'm thinking of an example. There was a great import food company on Elston Avenue. It used to be right down the street from our old place, run by a wonderful, three brothers. Great business, really great businessmen. And they, I don't know, for whatever reason, they weren't in their 60s yet. They were not quite retirement age, but they sold to a big national company. And, once that happens, the decision makers in Oklahoma City or they're in Los Angeles, and we lose the account.
Why is it important for you to keep this a family-owned and run business?
Because it gives us our competitive advantage. People want to work with a family business. I was actually on a call at a family business in Homewood. I mean, Homewood is 90 miles away from here, right? And I was talking to the guy. I said, there's a great family business in every category in Chicago. Like in electronics, there's Apt Electronics. And the guy said, I've been to Apt. I said, exactly. You drive 90 miles to go to the Apt store because they're a great family business and it's a great experience. And we like to think that we provide the same thing for our customers. It's very personable, very competitively priced. So we got 3,000 active accounts. None of those customers came to us because they paid more from what they used to get from one of the national players. They all saved money, but they enjoyed the experience afterwards because it's way more personable than what you get from the $30 billion competitor of ours.
And what about on the challenges on the employee side? I mean, obviously, you all have grown the business that your dad worked at and then built, and so the challenges that you have to find employees that are reliable and effective in advancing the mission here.
So our tagline is the nice guys in office supplies.
I like that.
Shaver, Condon, and Carter, I want to give them a shout out. They were the ad agency that came up with it. We really emphasize when we're going through the interview process that our customers expect the nice guy experience. So is it difficult to find people that fit that mold? Absolutely. But we're very selective. We like to think we pay very well. It's a good experience. We give people responsibility. So it's a job that they enjoy, but it's definitely a challenge to find.
And I love on your website, getgarveys.com, you feature employees that have been here 11 years, 15 years, and you really promote them well. I love that you have their pictures up there, and it's a rotating slide of all your employees.
Yeah, no, we do. We have very long-term employees. Probably the average is 10 years here. So.
And your competitors, your competitors are big boys in the marketplace like Staples.
Right. Yeah. So we're competing against household names. So that's a big challenge. Is that how do you get someone to pick up the phone when they haven't heard of your company before? But when they do, and you tell them about look, you're on your fourth rep from that company. Your pricing changes every day. I'm going to solve that problem for you, and I'm going to give you somebody who have been at this 30 years. I have sales reps that have been at it 15, 20 years, in some cases longer than I have. We're going to give you consistency. And at the end of the day, it's office supplies, right? So it's not like, no one was hired to order the office supplies. Nobody was given a raise because they really nailed it for the office supply ordering. But they can get fired if they screw it up.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so you want a dependable company. And that's what we are.
Maybe you need Signature Bank to underwrite like a glitzy national ad campaign.
Yeah.
Maybe you can be the spokesmodel
for
the company.
I will talk to Mick about that.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
we'll do something fun in that space.
Right. No, I am a Signature Bank customer. I love those guys. Mick O'Rourke's a great friend of mine. They are a wonderful, wonderful bank.
And your business has improved. It has grown exponentially over the years.
Yeah, I was telling Dan, 2008 was really the only year that we had sort of flat sales, and that going into.
I think everyone had a rough 2008.
I can remember it was like, middle of October, we were having a great month, and then all of a sudden, the stock market went down, and the whole world was going to end, and the rest of the month was like we should have. Hired crickets to chirp in the background because it was ended up being a terrible.
And do you remember, since you've been at this location for a time now, do you remember when the community came together to drive the Jacobsons out of Niles?
Thank you. No, I don't know if you were here. It was 1994. So. No, you were here.
No, yeah, we would have been. We would have been at our other location. We were
and
at
now
Grosse
my
Pointe
favorite donut joint, Amy Joy. Tell everybody what it's become.
It is now the palatial Niles Police Station.
Next thing you know, they're going to take down Niles Bowl, which I'm not going to let that happen.
It's not going to happen.
That's where I bowled the best game of my life.
This is the kind of rabble-rousing that had you excommunicated from the village of Niles. All right, he is Kevin Garvey, Vice President of Sales for Garvey Office Products, where we are broadcasting live this morning as part of our AM 560 Business Tour, sponsored by the aforementioned Signature Bank. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Today, gray skies, a chance of a shower or thunderstorm by this afternoon, highs in the low 50s. And then tomorrow it's going to be even cooler around here. We'll have rain on and off throughout the day, highs in the upper 40s. Let's get the travel times. Any good news there? Good news there, I should say. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Well, Amy, not on the Kennedy. Just to stay right there at Garvey's and Niles, because coming in from Niles to downtown Chicago is pretty slow. From Canfield to the Circle, it's jammed. An hour and 10 minutes from O'Hare to downtown. 35 minutes from Montrose, 27 on the Express. Outbound, 30 minutes to Montrose, 50 to the airport. Edens, 30 minutes, Lake Cook to the Junction. Outbound, 35, the Eisenhower. It is an hour from Thorndale to downtown. 41 minutes from Manheim. Outbound, 51 to Thorndale. Stevenson, it's an hour and 10 minutes slog from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. 55 minutes from the Tri-State. Outbound 39 minutes to 355. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive now has delays southbound Irving Park to Fullerton and 18th to the Stevenson. Northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State jammed 115th to the Hinsdale Oasis and Roosevelt to North Avenue. Adams Tollway delays. Higgins to 53 with a stall before Roselle in the right lane. And westbound slow 53 to Roselle after a crash. The Veterans Memorial slow from I-55 most of the way to St. Charles. And the Army Trail toll to 290. Jim Talamonte of the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
We want to say thanks to the dozens of businesses that stepped up to become business benefactors for our annual golf outing coming up on June 16th at the beautiful and challenging Bolingbrook Golf Club. This year's outing benefits Operation Support Our Troops America and the great work they do for your military members, their families, and our returning veterans. And if you own or run a business or make marketing decisions for your business, well, you're in luck. We've had a few slots open up for you to become a business benefactor of this year's outing. So if you purchase a foursome for $996, guess what? We'll turn that into $3,000 of advertising in the form of 25 60-second commercials that will air on AM 560 Monday through Friday between 5 a.m. and 10 p.m. Now, these opportunities are extremely limited, so call Michael Mann. His name is Michael Mann. He is standing by. He's waiting for your phone call. The number is 847-871-1527. That's 847-871-1527. And tell him that you want to become a business benefactor, 847-871-1527, or go to 560theanswer.com/golf.
Now that spring has arrived, it's likely you're looking forward to the warmer weather. But if you're a business owner, facilities manager, or maintenance engineer, you risk the same potential problem every year. A complete system failure. In fact, up to half of all commercial air conditioning units fail upon startup each season due to the lack of regular maintenance and repair. Let the professionals at Air Comfort make a comprehensive assessment of your mechanical system before there's a problem. A poorly operating air conditioning system results in uneven temperatures and humidity problems, leading to unhealthy mold and mildew growth. Don't compromise your business's overall air quality. Schedule today with Air Comfort. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Even if you're under contract with another provider, let Air Comfort provide your second opinion. After all, there's a reason why hundreds of businesses have trusted Air Comfort with their mechanical maintenance for more than 80 years. That's Air Comfort, a tradition of excellence since 1935.
I'm Dan Proft with an Upstream Idea brought to you by the Illinois Policy Institute. 27. Illinois state employees, on average, receive total compensation 27% higher than their private sector counterparts. State employees made nearly $4,000 more in wages and $13,000 in benefits than private sector employees. More than half of state workers will retire before the age of 60 with a guaranteed state pension. The state is in a financial death spiral with ground impact imminent. So keep this in mind as Governor Bruce Rauner breaks off contract talks with AFSCME, the state's largest public sector union. AFSCME has been unwilling to give on its demands for annual step increases of 3.8%, in addition to annual general wage increases. The lowball estimate of the cost of what AFSCME demands is $1.6 billion. That's $1.6 billion more from Illinois families who already pay the highest property taxes in the nation. This is Governor Rauner's moment of truth. He ran for office saying he is not a politician. He said he is a businessman who will make the difficult decisions to turn around the state he loves. We're about to find out if that's true. For more Upstream Ideas, visit upstream-ideas.com. I'm Dan Proft.
AM 560, The Answer.
Well, Dan, today's the day, sentencing day for one Denny Hastert, former House Speaker. He has just arrived, we're watching the video now, at the Dirksen Federal Building.
That is riveting video to watch a car drive on the road that is carrying one Denny Hastert to the federal court.
It was like the slow-speed O.J. Simpson. They were following him, but apparently because of his condition, because he apparently allegedly had a mild stroke,
he's a sexual predator, that condition?
No, this other condition, and he's in a wheelchair this time around. So they wheeled him in, and then he has a walker as well if he has to stand up in front of the judge.
It would have been more appropriate to wheel him in like Hannibal Lecter.
With a thing over his face, yes. But he could face up to probation or up to 5 years in prison. Judge Durkin making the decision in a few hours.
Well, and there's this other story I wanted to get to, too. We talked about, obviously, the presidential primaries yesterday, but there were local races. And one race of note, it's always good, speaking of politicians going to jail, since Denny Hastert will be sentenced to prison today. Representative Shaka Fatah.
Shaka Khan?
Shaka Khan?
Shaka Khan.
Shaka Khan, let me rock you, Shaka Khan. Let me rock you, that's all I want to do. Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan.
No.
Shaka Fatah, who represented...
Shaka
Fatah? Shaka Fatah, let me rock you. Shaka Fatah, who represented Philadelphia for more than 2 decades, lost his primary race, the first incumbent congressman to lose his race this cycle.
Why?
He lost the race because he was indicted.
Oh, no, for what?
A little while ago for charges of misusing hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxpayer charity and campaign funds. Of course.
Don't you know you can't do that?
Of course, he is being framed. He's innocent. It's all going to get cleared up. But at least Philadelphia voters threw out a criminal, which is more than Illinois voters do on a routine basis. But, of course, the real reason that I brought up the story
is
because his name is Shaka Fatah. Shaka Fatah.
Shaka Fatah.
Shaka Fatah, let me rock you, Shaka Fatah. Let me rock you, that's all I want to do. Shaka Fatah, Shaka Fatah, Shaka Fatah, let me rock you. I feel for you. Dan and Amy coming to you from Garvey's Office Products in Niles.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer. And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
The critics of income inequality say they are for social justice. But what does that mean? It means that if you're really productive, if you work hard, create lots of wealth, and make a lot of money, you're doing something bad. You're creating inequality. So what's fair? Well, what's fair is that government take a bunch of your money and give it to other people. Why do they deserve it? Because they didn't create much wealth. That's what it comes down to. Social justice says to punish people who've done nothing wrong for the sake of other people who have not been wronged. On the other hand, justice says to punish people for the wrong they've done to others. To learn more, visit ARIradio.com. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ARIradio.com.
Why are Ayn Rand's ideas so compelling? Her worldview, her philosophy, expressed dramatically in her novels Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead, embodies the ideals stated by the Founding Fathers in the Declaration of Independence and sets forth the requirements necessary to achieve a flourishing life. She called her philosophy objectivism and said it was a philosophy for living on Earth. Today, decades after her death, objectivism continues to stir debate and inspire passion for the spirit of individualism and the enduring American dream.
Because you listen to this show, you know that hundreds of small businesses around Chicago trust their IT needs to our good friend over at Turnkey IT. And so when I needed help with my personal home computer, and boy, did I need help, I picked up the phone and called David, the president of Turnkey IT. Without hesitation, David agreed to help, and I had the chance to experience firsthand what Turnkey IT services are really all about. When the technician from Turnkey IT arrived, he was early, friendly, professional. He was playing Shaka Khan. He transferred all the data from my old PC to my new PC and configured it exactly for my needs. It really was a turnkey solution. Turnkey IT wants to give all the business owners listening to AM 560 this great opportunity. Listen up, Shaka Khan. Turnkey IT is offering a free network checkup. So even if you already have an IT guy, this free checkup will help you deal with your own IT guy better. And here's my promise. Whatever IT provider you have now, you will like Turnkey IT better. So visit turnkey.pro today. That's turnkey.pro.
Learn how to take the guesswork out of investing with Arlington Capital Management's Proactive Asset Allocation Strategy, or PAS. Learn about it live in Oak Brook on April 28th at 6:30 p.m. Call 855-471-5796. That's 855-471-5796 to reserve your space, or visit arlington-capital.com.
This is Joe Lopresti from Arlington Capital Management. Change in the market shouldn't take you by surprise. In fact, the market tends to change cycles about once every 18 months. That's why we've developed proprietary tools designed to help us see what's beyond your investment horizon. We're dedicated to knowing when to capitalize on opportunity and when to protect you from a major decline. You don't have to be at the mercy of the market. Take control of your investments and join me at a live seminar in your town.
Learn Joe's proactive strategies live in Oak Brook on April 28th at 6:30 p.m. Call 855-471-5796. That's 855-471-5796, or visit arlington-capital.com.
In my line of work, I'm trying to make a difference. Not $1 billion, but I do want to be able to save for the future. So this year I partnered with TIAA to help me map out what I should be doing. Together, we came up with a personalized plan for my finances. And now it seems like a life of rewarding work just might pay off for a lifetime.
See how we're helping those who do good do well at the new TIAA.org. TIAA, created to serve, built to perform.
Running a business is tough these days. From a president who claimed it,
you didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen.
to the mountains and mountains of taxes and regulations here in Illinois. But many companies, big and small, have persevered, serving their customers and communities. If that's you and your business, then AM 560 The Answer wants to celebrate your success and tell your story. It's the AM 560 Business Tour 2016, presented by Signature Bank. This spring, Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson will be broadcasting live from businesses in Illinois with success stories of overcoming the odds and thriving in spite of the challenging business environment. If your company fits this description, then we want to know about it so we can consider broadcasting from your location. Tell us your story. Visit 560theanswer.com/business and submit your information. That's 560theanswer.com/business. Sponsored in part by Flex Execs Management Solutions.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
we'll talk geopolitical implications of a Trump presidency with Ambassador John Bolton at 8:08.
And why the state of Minnesota is millions of dollars richer due to the death of Prince, we'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories that we are watching at this point. Dennis Hastert to be sentenced this morning at the Dirksen Federal Building. Lions senior facility resident accused of killing his neighbors. Galesburg dealing with a lead drinking water crisis. And the White Sox pound the Blue Jays. A gusty, cloudy day ahead. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. Even Donald Trump didn't expect to win this big.
We had a tremendous night and tremendous victories, far greater than even the polls thought we were going to do.
Sweeping every county in 5 eastern states, but no one's dropping out. Fox Radio's Tanya J. Powers with more live.
While Trump was taking his victory lap, winning all 5 of yesterday's primaries, Senator Ted Cruz was already in Indiana talking about his rival's past support of Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton.
Why do you think Donald Trump gave money to Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign?
Now, with John Kasich on the sidelines in Indiana, Cruz is doing a lot of radio and TV advertising there and will spend a lot of time there this week. He's got a late afternoon rally in Indianapolis today, Lisa.
Thanks, Tanya. Bernie Sanders not giving up either.
Making certain that the Donald Trumps of the world do not divide us up.
But Hillary Clinton now has 90% of the delegates needed to clinch the Democratic nomination.
What a great night!
She won 4 of the 5 states. Sanders won Rhode Island. A former House Speaker learns his fate today in a hush money case stemming from sexual abuse allegations. Fox Radio's Jeff Manasso is live in Chicago.
Lisa, Dennis Hastert faces probation or prison for breaking federal banking rules in a scheme to pay a former student only identified as individual A millions of dollars over alleged sex abuse during the time when Hastert was a wrestling coach in suburban Chicago decades ago.
The abuse has caused him some long-term psychological problems, and he still struggles with those today.
Individual A's attorney Christy Brown on Fox affiliate WIND. Her client has filed suit saying he'd only been paid about half the money, while another alleged victim is expected to speak at Hastert's sentencing this morning. Lisa.
Thanks, Jeff. Another transgender bathroom debate may be brewing. The city of Oxford, Alabama, passing an ordinance making it illegal to use a public restroom different from the gender on a birth certificate. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
This morning we have cloudy skies and 45 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A resident of a senior living facility in Lyons accused of killing 2 of his neighbors. John Arnold has been charged in the murder of David Bossler and an unidentified woman. Both victims were found stabbed to death Monday at the Riverwalk senior residences. Investigators believe Arnold got into an argument with the pair over the weekend about missing property. The widow of a motorist killed when a speeding van slammed into his car while he was stopped in a construction zone. It's been awarded $22.7 million. Teresa Swenson sued Missouri-based Hussman for the May 2012 death of her husband, Aaron. The truck driver allegedly had drugs in his system when he slammed into Swenson's car on the Tri-State Tollway. A mosque in Rolling Meadows will not be allowed to move for now. The city council rejecting a zoning change requested by the Islamic Society of the Northwest Suburbs. The organization wanted to relocate from Industrial Drive to a nearby property on Hicks Road. The new location sits in a manufacturing district which does not allow places of worship. Chicago sports, White Sox over Toronto 10-1. Chris Sale becomes the first Major League pitcher to notch 5 wins. Cubs over Milwaukee 4-3, thanks to a 2-out, 2-run triple by Addison Russell. The news, a service of LifeLock. Do you use public Wi-Fi? That increases your chance of identity theft. One reason you need LifeLock. Free credit monitoring may show changes to your credit. LifeLock's U.S.-based team helps resolve identity theft issues. Sign up fast at LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. It's 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network and a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Hilton is reporting a very strong start to the year. The hotel company was helped by a tax benefit. Hilton Worldwide Holdings also plans to spin off a chunk of its hotel company into a real estate investment trust. If Comcast buys DreamWorks Animation, it could rival Walt Disney Company in the family entertainment business. DreamWorks is the studio that makes the Shrek and Madagascar movies, among others. Comcast owns Universal Pictures, which produced Minions and Despicable Me. Me. The Wall Street Journal says Comcast is talking with DreamWorks, offering $3 billion. Comcast has been copying Disney's strategy, using its popular animated films to expand its theme parks and merchandise. Apple shares closed sharply lower in China after the company reported its first decline ever in iPhone sales. Stocks closed mixed yesterday, Dow up 13, NASDAQ down 7. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:04 and a check of traffic and weather coming up next on AM 560.
The battle for the Republican nomination is racing towards the convention this summer in Cleveland.
Nobody is going to have enough delegates. We are going to go to a convention. It's going to be open.
Can Trump be stopped?
The only campaign that has beaten Donald Trump and the only campaign that can beat Donald Trump is this campaign.
Will there be a third-party run?
Donald Trump is a phony, a fraud.
What happens next?
We should make it pretty easily based on what I'm seeing.
Happens here.
So we won't have to worry about fighting at a convention.
This is AM 560. The Answer.
Mother's Day is next week, and Pro Flowers is offering an amazing special. 100 stunning blooms for mom, plus a free glass vase for $19.99. Go to proflowers.com and enter the secret code 8000. But hurry, this deal expires this Friday. 100 colorful blooms for mom for $19.99 plus a free glass vase. The only way to get this amazing deal is to go to proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 8000.
Shipping charges not included. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back.
Focus. You need it to run a business, so don't let legal questions distract you. Use LegalZoom instead. Things like lease agreements and employment laws get complicated, but they're part of running a business. That's why LegalZoom built a network of independent attorneys in 48 states. You can rely on them for the legal details without paying by the hour, since LegalZoom isn't a law firm. So focus on growing your business and use LegalZoom for the legal stuff. LegalZoom. Legal help is here.
8:06 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Let's get the latest now with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On Chicago's northwest side, Laramie is closed in both directions from Belmont north to Henderson due to a garage fire. The Edens Expressway is 30 minutes from Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 35. The Kennedy, an hour and 5 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 35 minutes from Montrose, 23 in the Express, outbound 45 minutes to O'Hare. The Eisenhower's an hour from Thorndale to downtown, outbound 51 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 10 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40 minutes. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown Lakeshore Drive, really jammed. Bryn Mawr to Fullerton and 18th to the Stevenson. 40 minutes Hollywood to Monroe, northbound slow from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State very heavy, 115th to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Spot Adams Tollway stop and go Higgins to Roselle, westbound 53 to Roselle, Veterans Memorial, Boughton to the Reagan Tollway, and Army Trail to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
This afternoon, cloudy skies and breezy with a high 54. Cloudy skies tonight and a low at 42. Cloudy, breezy tomorrow. Some rain, maybe a thunderstorm for the afternoon. High tomorrow at 53. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560. The Answer.
45 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Military Mortgage Talk with host Tony Gatliff. Sunday mornings at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Huge victories for Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. The presidential frontrunners getting closer to clinching their party's nomination, pivoting toward a general election.
I just want to thank everybody. This is a far bigger win than we even expected, all five. And that's something that's really...
Let's go forward. Let's win the nomination. And in July, let's return as a unified party.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We are coming to you live from Garvey's Office Products in Niles, part of our AM 560 business tour sponsored by Signature Bank. And Amy, I was reviewing the org chart for the organization here. Kevin Garvey, he's the vice president of sales.
Yeah, we had him on at 7:37.
Yeah,
great guy.
After we interviewed him, I'm being inundated by emails and texts. A text from the Lake County Sheriff, Mark Hearn.
Yeah.
I went to high school with Kevin Garvey. He was a big football star at Loyola Academy and Holy Cross in Massachusetts. Say hi for me. Another guy, Louis Gluns,
well, don't you
emailed
have the
in.
fancy friends?
I do.
Mhm.
That's right. That's right.
You and your fancy friends,
and don't
your fast cars, and your nice clothes.
Don't you forget about it. Kevin played football with me at Loyola. He was much better than I, said Louis Gluns. So apparently he was some big football stand. I mean, I don't know what the Loyola Academy is. Nice. It's not Bennett. But I mean, I guess if that's as high as you can rise,
But it was
then
a
that's
stepping
great.
stone for him to play collegiate ball.
Yeah, no, I didn't. That's pretty impressive. We
And
did
he's-
talk to him about his sports exploits.
Yeah, but this is a great company. If you want to see what they sell, if you want to know more about them, go to getgarveys.com. That's GARVEYS.com.
And I want to know more about what a Trump presidency would look like. I have some
Grand illusions.
ideas. I have some concerns of the grave variety, particularly in the geopolitical space. Because, look, I like other people buying my stuff and doing my stuff for me like anybody else. But, outsourcing the Syrian problem to Russia, Mexico financing our border security, I'm not sure how realistic those approaches are to some of the geopolitical challenges we face. So why don't we get a bit of an expert opinion here? And that is from former U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Ambassador John Bolton, who is now also a senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute. And Ambassador Bolton, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Glad to be with you. Thanks for having me.
So as you have watched the presidential campaign play out, and you've heard Trump give at least one semi-serious foreign policy speech when he addressed AIPAC, and apparently there are more to come, give us your handle on what your concerns are with respect to Trump's maybe more isolationist tendencies, as well as if there are any things that Trump has said about America's interests in the world and his approach to protecting and serving those interests that you find laudable.
Well, I don't think he has yet given a kind of comprehensive speech on national security. He's scheduled to give a speech in Washington today at noon that may be that speech. It was advertised by the Trump campaign as being that kind of speech. So we may know the answer to that question a lot better after the speech today, if that's what it turns out to be. And I think it's important that he do this. Campaign probably should have had him do it 6 or 8 months ago, but better late than never. And I think it's important because the president's first job is keeping the country safe. It may not be as politically useful as some other issues, but fundamentally that's what people look to the president for. And I think we are going to have a national security election this year. I think events in the wider world are going to dictate that happening anyway, and obviously if Hillary Clinton is the Democratic nominee, her qualification, her sole qualification to be president is what they'll claim to be her experience as Obama's Secretary of State. So it's important to get this out there. I think Cruz has already given several broad policy speeches in the national security area. So now Trump's on the field, and they'll have a chance, presumably with the Indiana primary coming up next week, to debate it in advance of that.
Ambassador John Bolton, do you trust Donald Trump carrying the football?
Well, I'm going to support the nominee of the Republican Party. I said that back even when Rand Paul was thought by some in the media anyway to have a serious shot at the nomination, because I think, although I haven't endorsed anybody to this point for a variety of reasons, I think looking at anybody in the field, they were still preferable to Hillary Clinton. On her best day, they were preferable to Hillary Clinton. But there's a lot that we still don't know. I don't think, despite however many debates we've had, that there's still been adequate discussion of foreign affairs among the Republican contenders. There's been almost no discussion of foreign affairs between Hillary and Bernie. It's like they don't even want to talk about the subject, and I think that's a mistake. I think, as I say, politically, it's clear the Republican Party is the party of national security, and it needs to be because there isn't a national security wing in the Democratic Party that I can see.
I want to talk a little bit about President Obama's trip to Britain and a bit of his scolding of Britain for even considering exiting the EU. This is kind of a kind of President Obama's treating enemies like friends we haven't made and treating friends like enemies. And I wonder how if you took his remarks or would have taken his remarks the way that London Mayor Boris Johnson did, which was basically to tell him to go pound sand and get over his anti-colonial impulses because of his Kenyan background. Pretty harsh pushback from some of the Brits to what President Obama had to say.
Well, I think some of the Brits, and I think some Americans, myself included, still haven't gotten over Barack Obama moving Winston Churchill out of the Oval Office. I think that was a terrible way to start off the administration. And I think that there's a legitimate point. This is a critically sensitive referendum that's coming up in June about the future of Britain and the European Union. It's hotly debated. The electorate is closely divided. And here you have some foreigner coming in to advocate in favor of staying in the EU. Now, lots of other European Union leaders have done the same, and what it reflects is, unfortunately, the leftist ideology that now really underlies the main argument to stay in, which is we don't like the nation state, we don't like separate countries in Europe, we want a European superstate. This has nothing to do with being a free trade area anymore, or economic liberalization, or anything like that. This is about political power. So it's bad enough the British government under David Cameron, the Prime Minister, which wants to stay in, using taxpayer dollars to send pamphlets to every voter advocating staying in. Now Cameron's bringing in Barack Obama, as you say, to lecture the British people. I'm not sure what the effect will be. It could well be it actually has more of a backlash effect than anything else. We'll have to wait and see. But I do think it was ill-advised. I think certainly private citizens are entitled to their opinion, but you're in a different place when you're the president. And Barack Obama doesn't speak for the entire U.S. on this question, and I just think it would have been more prudent, really more presidential, for him to keep his opinions to himself.
Well, isn't it interesting? He does this at a time where there is a bit of a revolt among the electorate in European countries. We saw that play out against Merkel in some recent elections in Germany. We saw it in Austria this week, where the very multiculturalism that has undermined Europe's sovereignty and safety is part and parcel to the real purpose behind trying to persuade Britain to stay in the EU, because they want to distribute the Syrian refugees.
Yeah, look, the European Union's in trouble for a lot of reasons. This refugee crisis, the threat of terrorism, the collapse of some of the underpinnings of the euro, the common currency, which, by the way, Britain never joined. And when Britain refused to get into the euro, a lot of the same predictions about Britain's economic collapse, its isolation from Europe, and so on, were all made at that time, and nothing happened, which is why I think a lot of the doom and gloom that's predicted about, and some of which came from Obama, if Britain were to vote to leave the EU, is also inaccurate. But to me, it's never been about just economics. It has been about sovereignty. It's about the people being able to say, we make the decisions, not distant bureaucrats in Brussels. We make the decisions. And I think that'll be the main argument on behalf of those who want to leave the EU, and we'll see in a couple months who prevails.
Now, on Monday, President Barack Obama announced an additional 250 special operation forces to be sent to Syria to try and combat ISIS. Who are those troops going to be working with or training?
Well, it's a very good question. I mean, I think they're still looking for the elusive moderate Syrian opposition. And, the president, I just think the president, let me be blunt here. The president's been dishonest about these deployments of American service members into Iraq and into Syria. He starts off by saying, I'm the guy who withdrew all American forces from Iraq, and there are going to be no more American boots on the ground there. Well, there are at least 4,000 Americans in Iraq, and something in the range of 500, probably more because the number's very, very sensitive and classified, more than that in Syria. And those people are not wearing Gucci's or sandals. They are wearing boots. And the president, when asked about this, says, I think the American people knew what I meant when I said no boots on the ground. I meant no invasion like George W. Bush carried out against Saddam Hussein. This man is caught in a time machine. He can't stop blaming the world's troubles on George W. Bush, and it's just flatly wrong. And the service members and their families know it. When Americans are out there in danger, performing missions that they've been given by the commander-in-chief, to say there are no boots on the ground. 2 Americans have already been killed in Iraq, perhaps some in Syria, others wounded. It just is it's insulting to our intelligence to have a president who carries out these fantasies.
He is Ambassador John Bolton, a senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute. Ambassador Bolton, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Well, thanks so much for having me.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Which do we need more of, prisons or police? We'll take your calls coming up, 312-642-5600. Now, here are the numbers in the weather department. A gray, dreary day out there, and it's cold, too. 41 degrees right now at O'Hare, going up to a high in the low 50s. Of course, a lot colder near the lake. Highs there of 42 degrees. And then this afternoon, we could have some rain, some thunderstorms. And tomorrow, more rain on the way, actually a consistent drizzle. And it's still going to be very cold for this time of year. A high only of 49 degrees. Any numbers good out there on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. It's heavy on the inbound Kennedy, 1 hour from O'Hare to downtown, 30 minutes from Montrose, 23 in the Express, outbound 40 minutes from downtown to the airport. Eden's 30 minutes, Lake Hook to the junction, outbound 35. The Eisenhower, an hour and 5 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, 42 minutes from Manheim, outbound 45 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40 minutes. Bryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive is no fun at all southbound, with the biggest delays Bryn Mawr to Fullerton, 40 minutes, Hollywood to Monroe. Northbound stop and go from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State's improving a bit. There's scattered delays, 95th to 31st. It's slow from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway jammed, Higgins to 53. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
I want to say thank you to the dozens of businesses that have stepped up to become business benefactors for our annual golf outing coming up on June 16th at Bolingbrook Golf Club. Now, this year's outing benefits Operation Support Our Troops America and the great work they do for our military members, their families, and our returning vets. And if you own or run a business or make marketing decisions for your business, well, you're in luck. We've had a few slots open up for you to become a business benefactor for this year's outing. So here's the deal. If you purchase a foursome for $996, we'll turn that into $3,000 worth of advertising in the form of 25 60-second commercials that will air on AM 560 Monday through Friday between 5 a.m. and 10 p.m. These opportunities are extremely limited. So here's what you do. You call Michael Mann, the great, the one and only Michael Mann. He's standing by. He's waiting to take your phone call. The number to call him at is 847-871-1527. That's 847-871-1527. And tell him that you want to become a business benefactor. 847-871-1527. Or go to 560theanswer.com/golf.
Congratulations to all who took the Balance of Nature New Year's Challenge. Success stories are pouring in. So many people have been helped through this incentive that I have asked Balance of Nature to continue this challenge for as long as possible.
I'll tell you what, this stuff is great. I haven't gotten sick. Everybody around me is coming down with that laryngitis, and it seems like it's all over the country. It's like a respiratory tract infection, and people lose their voice. And then it goes away, and then it comes back like 2 weeks later, and it's worse. I teach in a school. Half the teachers here, are sick, they're miserable. And I haven't gotten sick, and I swear it's this stuff. It's this fruits and veggies I'm taking.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
If you have termites invading your home, there's just one thing you want. You want them gone before they start causing thousands of dollars in damage. That's why you want to call Terminix, because Terminix is your most effective solution for termite protection. Call now and we'll give you a free termite inspection. 1-800-300-9035. Terminix is the nation's leading provider of termite and pest control services, backed by more than 85 years' experience. We'll stop those damaging invaders in their tracks. We can also defend your home against future invasions and the damage they may cause with our ultimate protection guarantee. If they come back, so will we. Defend your home now, before termites start causing expensive damage, with the effective choice in termite protection. It's your home, not theirs. Call Terminix today for a free termite inspection. 1-800-300-9035. That's 1-800-300-9035.
Ultimate Protection Guarantee not available on every plan. Limitations apply. Call for details.
AM 560, The Answer.
So, Dan, you're getting notes passed to you during class?
Yeah.
I don't understand what's going on.
We're here at Garvey's Office Products in Niles, and a customer, part of our AM 560 Signature Bank business tour, don't you know?
Yes.
A customer of Garvey's from Priester Aviation over there in Wheeling at Chicago Executive, where I fly.
Oh, I love that. I used to fly out of there. But I would be flown rather than fly.
Well,
of course, back in the day.
Yeah, when you used to be somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, those were good days.
On the jet, the Citation. Anywho, yes.
They're never coming back.
There's never. But you fly a Cessna, right?
I do. And, but what's so funny about that?
I was kidding. Yes.
So a customer of Garvey's named Lori from Priester Aviation at Chicago Executive called in to tell the bosses here to tell me that she loves me.
Oh, my God.
Isn't that nice?
Enough about me. What do you think of me? So, Dan, let's hear more about you.
I mean, look, if you
so
want
why
to
does
call
she
in,
love you?
If you want to call in and tell me you love me, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. I'll
Or
take your calls all morning.
Or you could text us at 64636, type in D and A, and let us know what you think of Dan and why you love Dan.
Yeah,
Maybe Scott from the West Side will text in because he loves him some Dan Proft.
Then not so much the Amy part.
No, he doesn't.
Maybe the way to really show a certain
appreciation or affection for Dan Proft, yes,
is to make sure that I fly private over there out of Priester Aviation at Chicago Executive anytime I need to. That's how I do love. I quantify it. Yeah.
So did you learn that's your airport though? That's where you fly in and out of?
That's where I fly in and that's where I fly as
do you do touch and goes?
Avocation.
Yes.
Oh, you look at you with the lingo.
Yeah. Well,
take it easy there.
Hey, I watch. Just wait till I get my pilot's license.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is.
Hey, do you have your instrument reading?
I have my instrument. I don't have my instrument reading.
Mm-hmm.
And I also don't have my instrument rating yet.
Okay.
Yeah. See, this is, you should have just stopped at touch and go, but you had to push it. You had to continue to try.
Rating.
Yeah, instrument rating.
What did I say?
You said instrument reading.
Oh, well, I can read instruments.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
This is why I would never. I was going
this
to make a recommendation.
I was going to be your co-pilot.
No, but I was going to make a recommendation to for a flight school, but just this conversation. I would not. I liked my flight instructor, so I would never inflict him upon you. And not to mention, I'm working on my instrument rating.
Okay, instrument rating.
And I don't want him killed in a tragic aviation accident at Chicago Executive were he to take you on as a student. So
it wouldn't be.
Anyway, Lori from Priester Aviation.
Oh, hi, Lori.
Thank you.
What's Lori wearing? Lori.
All right, now you've taken it too far. Again. Dan and Amy coming to you live from Garvey's Office Products in Niles.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, the security officers at your business are an extension of your business. Because they are, you got to have the best. Often the first person your customer meets is your security officer, so they need to be professional, friendly, and courteous. Hey, if you're having issues with your security provider, don't tolerate it. Man, call Guardian Security Services. They're friends of mine. They're at the top of their game, setting the bar for customer service for the past 41 years in Chicago. Easy to reach if you have questions. They pride themselves on a client retention ratio greater than 95% and the best training and vetting practices in the industry. Hey, if you're unhappy with your on-site security officer or doorman, hey, call Guardian Security Services. Get a free consultation and tell them Joe Walsh sent you. Right now, call 708-385-3300. That's 708-385-3300 or online at guardiansecurityinc.com.
If medications haven't helped you treat your depression, why haven't you tried TMS therapy offered by Theramind? Now there's a way to successfully treat your depression without the need for meds and their harmful side effects. TMS therapy is covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois and Medicare. So don't continue to suffer needlessly. Call Theramind right now. Theramind, the number is 847-562-5868. That's 847-562-5868. It is the single greatest advancement to date in treating depression, TMS, an FDA-cleared, non-drug, safe, and effective treatment. TMS has already changed the lives of over 50,000 patients, so why not you? Visit them at tmsmind.com. That's tmsmind.com. And again, it's covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross and Blue Shield and Medicare. Depression can be beaten and without drugs, so call Theramind now, 847-562-5868. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Text from 219.
A text.
I can't love Dan. There's no room for anyone else in his love for himself. Well, let me tell you something, 219. I learned from Whitney Houston long ago that the greatest love of all is learning to love yourself. And I've taken that to heart, so I make no apologies.
Well, speaking of love, government officials in Minnesota just love that Prince may have passed because they're millions of dollars richer. We'll explain.
And some Hollywood conservatives trying to rally for Ted Cruz. We'll talk about that with Steve Moore at 8:38.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say hello again to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. 45 degrees. Main suspect in the Paris terror attacks now in France answering charges as Belgian authorities handed over Salah Abdel Salam to the French today. Investigators believe Abdel Salam is the only surviving suspect in the attacks that killed 130. Donald Trump celebrating after winning 5 primaries in states yesterday.
I consider myself the presumptive nominee, absolutely. I mean, I feel up.
At the same time, Hillary Clinton closing on the Democratic nomination after winning primaries in 4 of 5 states.
We will unify our party to win this election and build an America where we can all rise together.
A mistake for the John Kasich campaign. He will not be in the Oregon voter pamphlet for the May 17th primary. Kasich's campaign missed a key deadline to submit information. The nation's midsection preparing for another day of foul weather. The nastiest weather predicted for an area from Houston into central Iowa. Yesterday's storms brought huge hail and high winds. Former House Speaker Dennis Hastert will step before a judge at the Dirksen Federal Building today to learn his punishment in a hush money case centered on sex abuse allegations. Authorities say a body found in Lake Michigan is that of a Chicago woman who went missing earlier this year. Cook County Medical Examiner's Office identified the victim as Jessica Suarez. The 21-year-old was last seen in February jogging near Montrose Beach. Chicago sports, White Sox beat Toronto 10-1. First-place club backing Chris Sale to his 5th win. Cubs over Milwaukee 4-3. And your NBA Coach of the Year is Golden State's Steve Kerr. The news, a service of Lead Safe America. More than 1 in 3 American kids has lead in their blood. No level of lead is safe. Lead poisoning can cause learning disabilities and behavioral disorders. Has your child been tested? Learn more at leadsafeamerica.org. 8:33 is our time. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher tells you who he voted for in the New York primary.
I voted for the Republican that I feel will be the most qualified to lead this country out of the darkness of 8 years of Barack Obama, who's best poised to beat the Hillary machine, can inspire, enlighten, and lead this country. That's the Republican I voted for.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas. Best beans, best roast, best coffee.
Attention market watchers. Until recently, the market hadn't seen back-to-back days of 500-point losses since November of 2008. What if you had no market exposure? What if you didn't have to worry about the markets? How would you sleep? Leave the volatility behind. Hi, this is Jack Taboda. Our proprietary income strategies provide reliable, inflation-protected income, guaranteed for life, with no market exposure. Call me at 630-777-7955. That's 630-777-7955. You've worked hard to build your wealth. I work hard to protect it. 630-777-7955.
Insurance products may be presented and guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the insurance company represented. Securities offered through ProEquities Inc., a registered broker-dealer and member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Harvest Investment Services LLC, a registered investment advisor. Taboda and Associates and Harvest Investment Services LLC are independent of ProEquities Inc.
8:35 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Edens is holding at about 30 minutes from Lake Cook to the junction. Outbound 35. The Kennedy, 1 hour from O'Hare to downtown. 30 minutes from Montrose, 23 on the Express. Outbound 40 minutes to O'Hare. Eisenhower is an hour and 5 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 42 minutes from Manhunt. Outbound 45 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 40 minutes. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State delays are in small pockets now from 95th to 31st. Then from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway slow Barrington Road to 53 and 2E to Lee. Veterans Memorial heavy, 75th to the Reagan Tollway and Army Trail to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Cloudy, breezy, a bit of afternoon rain, high 53. Rain continues into the overnight hours and a low of 42. 45 right now at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 9. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Live with Andrew Holmes. Get honest answers to your questions every Sunday at 12 noon.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, coming to you live from Garvey's Office Products in Niles this morning, part of our AM 560 business tour, sponsored by Signature Bank. That website, getgarveys.com, if you want to peruse their office product offerings.
And you can meet their employees. They're dedicated employees, a lot that have been here 10, 15, 20 years. It's a great place.
90-year-old business, just celebrated their 90th anniversary. So another great family business here in the Chicago metropolitan area. And that's a perfect segue to talk to our friend Steve Moore, the chief economist at the Heritage Foundation, about entrepreneurial capitalism. It still does exist even in Chicago. Hey, Steve, thanks for joining us.
Hi, guys. Well, I'm still in mourning over Blackhawks, so I'm still trying to get over that, but otherwise I'm doing just fine.
We're glad to hear that. If that's
I couldn't hear
the
him.
Blackhawks loss.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If that's that's the kind of
They're not
first
supposed
world
to
problem
lose a
Steve
game
Moore
7.
has.
They're not supposed to lose a game 7.
So, Steve,
Now
let me,
the Cubs.
since you're otherwise despondent, let me
Bring him back in, Dan.
Let me stay in this space, but on a more serious note, Rich Lowry had a piece in National Review about this, the working class meltdown, and it continues the conversation we've started to have about the actual decline in life expectancy for middle income, middle aged whites. He report out from Centers for Disease Control last week.
I saw that.
That has the incidence of suicide, for example, among that cohort at a 30-year high. Some disturbing trends, and the conclusions that some are drawing, including Lowry, is that this is in part a reflection of that demographic being increasingly alienated from American life.
I agree with that. They're less alienated today than they were yesterday. I mean, you have this is what Donald Trump has really tapped into, that frustration and that sense of alienation. And, as I put it in my tweet last night, last night's election was about the powerless triumphing over the powerful. And so this is one of the animating features of modern American life, is the middle class feels shafted, they feel lied to, they feel left behind. And the thing, whether you love Trump or hate him, and I know people have, he is the one politician, maybe Bernie Sanders being the other, that really saw that and tapped into it in a big way.
And today he's making a big foreign policy speech in Washington, D.C. He's got himself a speechwriter, bringing in some teleprompters. Is this going to be the beginning of the new, more serious candidate of the candidacy of Donald Trump?
I've been asked that question a couple times the last few days, and I think that one of the things that people like about Trump is that he is kind of impromptu, and that he will say things that oftentimes are crazy, but that he's authentic, and he doesn't just read what's on a teleprompter. Last time he gave a teleprompter speech was was when he spoke to AIPAC, and he gave his Israel speech, and he got huge applause. I mean, everyone loved that speech, and he's pretty good with the teleprompter, which is what it'll be today. So, part of me says, yes, Amy, he's obviously got to become more disciplined in what he says, no question about it. But on the other hand, let Trump be Trump. He is what he is. He's this kind of New York counterpuncher, and that's what a lot of people like about him.
Some
I don't know,
data
Amy, have you come around to Trump yet?
No, absolutely not.
I can tell in your voice.
Can't you? Can you see the disdain on my face without even looking at me?
Some other data that's come out, Steve, it's interesting. Solicit your interpretation. Manufacturing jobs. For the first time ever, there are more manufacturing jobs that reside, factory sector jobs that reside in right-to-work states as compared to forced unionism states. And in right-to-work states, those workers are making, on average, $3,600 more than their counterparts in non-right-to-work or forced unionism states.
Study? Where did you see that?
That was in the, I have it. I'll hold on a second.
I
pull
watch
it up.
Stand by.
But I don't, there's no question that manufacturing jobs are surging in right-to-work states, and Illinois is not a right-to-work state, and this is something that's holding back jobs. There's no question about it. We just came out with our index, by the way, of what we call rich states, poor states, that we do with Alec, and Laffer and I do it together. And what was disappointing was that Illinois fell this year. You had actually dropped out of the bottom 10. You were ranked something like 38. And I'm not even sure why it is, but you fell to 42 again. You're in the terrible 10 once again. I think it's because you haven't made much progress. Well, other states are doing the right things. They are becoming right-to-work states. They are cutting their tax rates and so on, and Illinois seems to be in a state of paralysis. Now, I believe that Bruce Rauner has got to win this budget fight, or else Illinois is lost for another generation. It's that big for Illinois, but the single most important thing Illinois has to do to get back in the game is become right-to-work.
And the data that I had recounted is from the National Institute for Labor Relations Research.
Okay. I'll take a look at that. I mean, that's very consistent with what I have seen as well. In our analysis, we find for every job that is created in a non-right-to-work state like Illinois, 2 to 3 jobs are created in states that are right-to-work, like Texas and Florida and a lot of the southern states. But so, look, you're getting surrounded by right-to-work states there. You know that, Dan. I mean, Indiana's now right-to-work. Missouri is not, but we're working on that state. I mean, Tennessee is right-to-work. You've got to get in the game.
Michigan.
You've got to come right to work. Yeah, Michigan, yep. And we think we can get Ohio. We think we can get Missouri. West Virginia just became a right to work state. So that's the trend. And it's basically, this is not anti-union, folks. This is not an anti-union measure. It's just a right of association. It just says if you don't want to join the union, you don't have to. I believe that's a fundamental American right.
Now, I want to talk about taxes, especially estate taxes, in lieu of the passing of one of my heroes, Prince. I'm going to talk about him and not cry. I don't know if you're a Prince fan, but he did not leave a will. And so according to Minnesota state law, he has to split his $300 million plus that he's believed to be worth with his blood sister and his half-siblings, which there was 5. Now today there's 6 half-siblings. But the
More
state,
coming.
Yeah, but the state of Minnesota, I don't know if you heard this because of estate taxes, they get $146 million.
You mean
What's your reaction to that? Pardon? The state of Minnesota does, yes.
Yeah. Well, here's what I say to that. Prince, come on, what were you thinking? What were you doing living in Minnesota? Especially, anybody who has millions of dollars of wealth. You're crazy to die in a state like Minnesota. You can go to Florida and pay nothing. You can pay Tennessee, Texas, pay nothing. Now, Illinois, refresh my memory, guys. Do you still have a death tax in Illinois?
Yep.
Yeah, we do, but it's above threshold. It's a couple $1 million before it kicks in, but then it kicks in. It's serious.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're above 10%. I mean, why would anyone, with a multi-million-dollar income die in Illinois? I mean, it's just dumb. Why would you want to? And we see in our data that people, especially when they're wealthy and they get old, they move to states that are that have no death tax, and Illinois should be one of those. I mean, but there's 4 or 5 things Illinois just has to do. You got to solve your pension problem. You have to pick a right to work. You have to get rid of your estate tax, and a couple of other things. Just get regulations off the bat of your businesses, and businesses will come back to Illinois. I mean, Chicago, I said this so many times from your show, it is a world city. It's one of the great cities in the world. All the Chicago is stupid political decisions.
You know why Prince didn't have a will, Stephen Moore?
Why?
Because his attorney said he didn't think that he was going to die.
He was going to live for 1,999 years.
Isn't that crazy?
That is.
That's going to be a fun probate hearing. I'll tell you that.
He's going to pay a very high. Oh, so I get it now. He didn't have a will.
No, he died intestate. Yeah.
Oh, so now he's in big. Yeah, he's going to pay so much taxes, and his heirs will pay so much, and it's just dumb. That's what we call an unforced error.
Yeah. Well, when you think you're going to live for 1,999 years, you got other issues as well. Steve, your colleague, your brother in arms, Larry Kudlow, had a rather impassioned plea for conservatives on his radio show, his most recent radio show. We played a clip of it yesterday. I thought it was very good, and essentially it was this idea, look, we've been in the trenches fighting for conservative policy solutions for a long time. There's a lot of acrimony between the Cruz supporters, the Never Trumpers versus the Trump supporters, and he worries that this is going to create lasting rifts and prevent conservatives from realizing the political and policy power they otherwise are on the cusp of gathering. Did you hear that plea, and do you agree with his assessment?
Yeah, I saw that. In fact, I do Larry's show every Saturday. But he's right. Look, it is time for people who feel very passionate about this race to get over it. Donald Trump is the nominee. It's not going to be Ted Cruz. It's not going to be John Kasich. It's not going to be Mitt Romney. It's going to be Donald Trump. And what I'm going to work on, I'm going to work day after day, week after week, to get Amy to vote for Donald Trump.
Okay. Wow. Maybe buy me some Prince albums. Maybe unleash the records in the vault.
Yeah. Maybe if you take her to a Blackhawks game next year.
And by then you're gonna be saying we're gonna make America great again.
Oh my! Wow.
But I hate to tell you this,
coming from Steve Moore.
Do you know where I was last night, guys?
You went to the. I bet you went to the Cubs Brewers game.
I was at the Trump victory party. Boy, they go first class, by the way. Champagne. It was hors d'oeuvres.
Trump steaks. Trump vodka.
Nice. Yeah, if you can't beat them, I join them.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Nice.
All right. I'm looking.
I'm going to say one thing optimistic before we end this interview. I do not believe for 1 minute, these polls that say that Trump cannot beat Hillary. I'm going to say it on the record. on the Don and Amy show that Trump is going to beat Hillary, and he's going to beat her soundly. He's going to beat her by 6 points, and he's going to win 35 states.
I'll tell you what, that's a bold prediction. But look, there's a George Washington battleground poll this week that has it a dead heat. So the idea that he's going to get run out of town by 10 or 12 points, I agree with you. I think that's from the left.
How many times have we over the last year? I mean, remember a year ago when Donald Trump announced he's running for president, we were rolling on the ground laughing, right? I mean, this guy has defied every prediction.
He hired actors to be there because he needed seat fillers.
Nobody's laughing now for all kinds of reasons.
But
Steve Moore, chief economist.
We got to come together, folks.
Okay.
This is
all right, kumbaya.
All right, Steve, we'll look for you standing next to Chris Christie in those behind-the-Trump shots from his victory speeches.
You got it.
Steve Moore, chief economist at the Heritage Foundation. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Have a great day. Bye.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Chilly forecast ahead, just a string of actually kind of miserable days. We have gray skies right now, chance of a shower or thunderstorm by this afternoon. Highs of 53, but that's not if you're near the lake. Near the lake, you're going to have wind chills near it. In the 30s, ouch. And then tomorrow, more gray skies, drizzle on and off throughout the day, a high only of 49 degrees. Anything better happening on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Actually, yes, Amy, it's getting a little less gloomy now. The Kennedy has improved. It's 50 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, but the express lanes save nothing. The Ohio feeder is heavy. Outbound 45 minutes downtown to the airport. Eden's 25 minutes, Lake Cook to the junction. Outbound 30. The Ike, an hour and 5 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 47 minutes. Stevenson 50 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ride 30 minutes, 95 to downtown. Toll, we still have some delays, but they are getting better. Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
I have struggled with irritable bowel syndrome for 40 years. Really struggled with it. And I want you to know that since I have been taking Balance of Nature, I don't have it anymore. After 40 years, I'm 75 years old, and after 40 years of struggling with this and, early on taking all kinds of medication and this, that, and the other thing, back in October, I was able to cancel my appointment with the gastroenterologist. Your products have made my life. They have improved the quality of my life so tremendously. I can't be grateful enough. So please thank you all, and please, if you ever have a chance to, please thank Dr. Howard.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Trust is the single most important factor in hiring a contractor. Dependable Construction and its founder, Joe Baran, built their business over 3 decades by being trustworthy. Tuck pointing, brick, and roofing is Joe's specialty. Joe started as a laborer and progressed to an expert tuck pointer and bricklayer. In addition to masonry and roofing, Joe and Dependable Construction have grown to become a full-service Angie's List and Better Business Bureau award-winning contractor. For brick, masonry, and roofing on residential, commercial, or industrial projects to any other type of remodeling or construction, you'll deal directly with owner Joe Baran. Call Joe Baran at Dependable Construction, an AM560 Feed the Children business benefactor. Mention AM560 and receive a 10% discount on most jobs. Call 773-244-1091. That's 773-244-1091. Or visit tuckpointchicago.net. Or call 773-244-1091.
Are you or someone you know facing foreclosure, losing the family home? You'd be not alone. See, people, we are in the aftermath of what is being revealed to have been the greatest financial crime spree in history, perpetrated by the Wall Street investment banks smuggling and packaging mortgages, and continuing this day by the mortgage servicers that service the mortgages. I'm Lou Bridges. I have a law firm I put together. We defend foreclosure actions. We help people do strategic defaults, short sales, and modifications that include restructuring. Call us for a free consultation. We'll tell you what to look for in hiring a foreclosure defense attorney. We'll tell you some of your options. We'll give you a free consultation. But whatever you do, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
Call 224-513-1231 or visit FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. That's 224-513-1231 or FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. Get real answers from a real foreclosure defense law firm.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy broadcasting live today from Garvey's Office Products and Niles.
The staff has arrived.
Part of our AM 560 business tour sponsored by Signature Bank, broadcasting from Garvey's Office Products today.
And I love this place. I've been sitting in this chair now for a few hours. Very comfortable. And I think I could take it home as a parting gift, maybe.
Yeah.
Somebody talk to the boss, Kevin, and then maybe I could be with this, sponsor.
Your
I could find a
posture has
sponsorship.
improved. You're much more
It's great
ergonomically correct.
Lumbar support, but they offer everything here.
Yeah.
There's office supplies, furniture, janitorial supplies, and really, you want to shop locally, and especially with a family-owned business, and they employ about 100 people. And if you want more information, if you want to see what they have to offer, just jump on the interweb here. Go to getgarveys, GARVEYS.com. So today's a big day. After this, I'm going to drive as fast as is humanly possible to get down to the Denny Hastert sentencing hearing.
Yeah, nobody enjoys Schadenfreude more than you.
No.
So what? Give me a prediction. How many years does he get?
I think he will get 5 years.
You think he's going to get 5 years?
I think he's going to get the maximum of 5 years. Individual D, who I've been told is at the courthouse, he is going to be testifying during the sentencing phase, and apparently he's the only alleged victim that is going to be speaking before the judge.
The correct answer is he will get 30 months. 30 months.
Yes,
for those
okay.
those who have office pools on Denny Hastert sentencing, 30 months is where you want to be.
But he showed up in a wheelchair. Apparently he had some minor stroke in recent months, so he showed up in a wheelchair and a walker.
And what it was the recliner that he used to watch boys shower. They just put some wheels on it.
You stop it. But I mean, come on.
Make him feel comfortable, make him feel at home.
Trying to make the judge have sympathy for you showing up in a wheelchair. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't strap on an oxygen tank, too.
Please don't use the phrase strap on and Denny Hastert in the same sentence ever again. No, that's just not right. I don't like that lowbrow comedy that you engage in.
You started it.
Denny Hastert, don't expect any empathy or sympathy for Denny Hastert from Judge Durkin today. I think he's going to get real jail time in spite of what federal prosecutors recommended, and that's, of course, what he deserves. Dan and Amy live from Garvey's Office Products in Niles.
Tasty Catering is bringing outdoor happiness to you and your coworkers in a variety of forms this picnic season.
Down-home barbecue, street tacos, sausages and sandwiches, steaks, chops, fish, Greek feasts, pig roasts, the list goes on.
Tasty Catering picnic foods are getting more deliciously sophisticated than ever, too, which means you can meet everyone's needs with even more great picnic food options.
Organic, gluten-free, vegetarian, vegan and dairy-free options never tasted so picnicky.
Your picnic doesn't stop with amazing freshly grilled food, entertainment, rentals, decor, venue selection. Get everything you need with one single call to Tasty Catering.
Inflatables and crafts for the kids, games and athletics for the teenagers, beverage packages and entertainment options for the adults. There's so much to choose from.
The best company picnics start at tastycatering.com. View picnic menus, entertainment options, picnic spots, and more when you visit tastycatering.com.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to do what I did and call David Hochberg. Carol called to consolidate her mortgage, credit card debt, and student loans because her husband, Sam, listens to David's show. Now, Carol and Sam lived on credit cards to feed their family and cover expenses when Sam lost his job. Sound familiar? David informed Carol consolidating her debt into a 15-year fixed loan would reduce her payments over $1,000 a month. Wow. Carol talked it over with Sam, and this is a direct quote. If David said to do it, then let's do it. Needless to say, David is helping Carol and Sam recalibrate their debt and save over $12,000 a year. Now, if you've accumulated debt because of a job loss and you'd like David's help recalibrating your debt, give him a call right now, 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. David has helped me, and thousands of AM 560 listeners, and he'll help you too. But guess what? You have to call him 312-751-1333 or visit www.am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358 RMLA NMLS 19186.
World, say hello to some old friends. It's been a long time, but they remember you. They're my toes, and they've been hidden ever since I got nail fungus. Yeah, nail fungus. I know, embarrassing, right? Really ugly stuff that I just couldn't get rid of. Tried several doctors, took pills, creams, even considered surgery. Of course, with that, you lose your nail, and there's no guarantee that the fungus won't come back. So I tried Clear Touch. Clear Touch is a little handheld device you use at home. It's painless because it uses light. Yes, light to travel fast and deep. Can't believe I went so long hiding my toes when this simple, inexpensive solution was waiting right there at Clear Touch. Clear Touch is even cleared by the FDA because it's safe and works. Yeah, my toes saw the light. So, world, I'd appreciate it if you could pass the word about Clear Touch, the phototherapy solution that works. Call 800-279-7573. That's 800-279-7573. That's 800-279-7573 or cleartouchnails.com.
Thank you so much for having us this at Garvey's Office Products. To learn more, go to getgarveys.com. Thanks to Eric Thomas and to David Stripling, our technical producer, and Cesar Perez, our executive producer.
Shake and bake.
And we'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Now into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we are watching right now. Former House Speaker Dennis Hastert stepping before a judge at the Dirksen Federal Building this morning to learn his punishment in a hush money case centered on sex abuse allegations. A Lyons Senior Facility resident accused of killing his neighbors. Galesburg dealing with a lead drinking water crisis. Body found in Lake Michigan has been identified as a missing Chicago woman. White Sox pounded the Blue Jays last night north of the border while the Cubs were winners over Milwaukee. We have a cloudy, breezy day ahead with a little bit of